Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ThePylonShow episode number 134. And as you guys know, it's kind of a special one because this is probably the most amount of MMR we've ever had on the ThePylonShow. No matter how many guests we had in the past, okay, even if we had 6, it wasn't this high. Should be a really fun Wednesday afternoon. I hope all of you guys are doing great. Let's go ahead and introduce our 3 amazing guests. I'll start off with our Frenchman. Ça va, mon ami? How are you doing, Clem?
I'm doing great today. I had to wake up very early for the Pylon show. I just kidding. But yeah, I'm doing good, doing good.
All right, thank you so much for taking some time and joining us on the Pylon Show today. Next up, Reynor. How are you doing, matey?
I'm doing great, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. Are you feeling surrounded between? Actually, no. On that graphic, you're not surrounded. It's Yona who's surrounded. Well, that brings us to our Finnish phenom. Yona, what's up? How are you doing?
Doing fine. Nothing too special at the same time, but trying to live my life and practice some as well.
I mean, we'll dive into that. I know you've been taking some time off. I gotta say, when I had the idea of getting you 3 on, I was like, Clem, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna make sure it's not too early, but he will show up. Raynor is always fine to talk, but I was like, not sure if Yona's in the mood for this, but you're actually more than just willing. You just said, oh yeah, sure, let's do it. So, have you ever been on the Pylon Show?
No, I haven't. I'm not sure if I ever got asked, but I guess it's normally the NA time, so don't always decline anyways. But
Yeah.
with the EU times, it's not too bad, and it's fun to be here, I guess.
So, if it's going to be a pleasant experience, there's a chance we'll talk to you again sometime later this year.
I guess, yeah. Why not? Why not? We'll see.
Probably not. I wouldn't push it too far, Kevin. Okay,
Yeah.
you got him
I wouldn't
once.
go too far.
You gotta accept it. You know.
All
But I
right. Well,
mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If it's gonna be very much fun, why not? Why not?
all right. Are you guys hearing this too, by the way? I hear some issues on Jonas' side. Maybe
It's
Cobra
probably
can.
his Finnish internet is exploding.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'm
One
sure
second.
Cobra will take a look at it. He says 1 second. Alrighty. Well, today, guys, we're just gonna cover a whole bunch of things. Obviously, I want to know how you guys been doing. I know some of you guys took some time off. We'll dive into that. But first up, this is something that I wanted to do. It's kind of just like restructure the Pylon show a little bit. And instead of diving into discussions and then having this week in StarCraft and a million tournaments to talk about, I kind of just want to make it the gold standard to each and every single week talk about the big things that have been happening, the ones with EPT points. So we're going to kick things off, taking a look at what's been happening in the ESL Pro Tour and, of course, the GSL, because one of the semifinals has been played. If we can go ahead and take a look at maybe the weeklies, because the weeklies are important. And the weeklies this week left a lot to talk about. Because I don't know what's happening, guys, but as far as I'm concerned, Europe has fallen.
Actually, unbelievable, man. What a disappointment.
Well, where were you, Rainer?
Yeah, I was busy with school actually. I was so sad when I saw the results. I had a lot of faith in you guys, especially you Clem. I can't believe it, honestly. That was such a big disappointment to see Europe fall like that. But I'll make sure we get our revenge. No worries.
All right, since we're talking about that one, let's just go ahead and take a look at the bracket of the European Pro Tour Weekly number 80, I believe it was. And for the first time in 80 weeks of the European Pro Tour Weekly, it was actually won by a Korean player playing from Korea. Kira managed to overcome the competition and take out. Well, this is Korea. I guess we should have started with Korea, but let's just skip over to Europe real quick and then we can go back to Korea afterwards. This was the European Pro Tour Weekly number 80. Clem at the top. I can see that things did not work out against Man. I didn't see that game, so you want to talk about it? Is there anything worth sharing?
Yeah. So I think I won the first game. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think it was just like a pretty normal game. And then the second game, he so I was like pretty dead from the opening. He did like so much damage with the first Oracle, and I was like feeling kind of dead. And I was like, I'm gonna try a Desperation 2 base timing. And it kind of worked out, and it ended up in a trade base, and I like lost, but it was like pretty close for how bad it started for me. Um, and the last game, yeah, it's also kind of the same. I want to try a proxy racks, and he found it instantly. Like not instantly actually, but he found it pretty early, and it was like just a bad start for me. And I still made it kind of close, but yeah, it wasn't enough in the end. Too many storms, too many protosses.
What did you think when you saw it was Cure who ended up winning it all?
That's actually pretty crazy. That's actually pretty crazy. I'm not sure if it would happen again. Maybe it's more like a bracket thing where like for example Gabe got eliminated, and I'm not sure like Cure would beat Gabe in like on EU, you know. But yeah, it's definitely pretty impressive. And Cure, like in the past, Cure has shown like some really strong games in the Europe server, which is pretty impressive.
Yona, I believe that you have played a grand total of 1 European Pro Tour weeklies, and you did win it. If this would happen 3 weeks in a row, would that motivate you to start playing?
I don't care that much if Korean wins, but I mean, I'm just not motivated to play because of the time is really stickly. So it's, I don't know, it's just if they would start a bit earlier, or if I kind of had my rhythm delayed for some reason, I would go sleep at like 12 on Sunday or something. I'd probably play one, but in general, I don't think if Kur would win the next two ones, that would really motivate me too much.
Okay. I mean, I feel like the one time you did play it was after maybe a TSL or something that didn't work out for you. I think it was one of those events where you went out a lot earlier than obviously we all expect you to go out. And I really had the feeling that you showed up on a Monday just to kind of set the record straight. Like, what was the motivation behind playing that one time?
I mean, that's already like 1 year ago, but I guess that had something to do with it. Yeah. Also, like I mentioned, my sleep schedule was kind of I stayed up late the last night, and also no one was home, so I wouldn't annoy anyone if I stayed up that long. So it was just a couple of things came together, and I decided to play. But obviously, losing early in the previous tournament gave some extra motivation as well. But at the same time, even though I lost a couple of tournaments early this year as well, I haven't really, just because of that, played any of them.
Mm-hmm. Reina, you were memeing already. You said it's unbelievable. When you opened Wikipedia or you maybe watched some of the streams, what were you thinking?
It's an actual embarrassment for the Europeans. I actually can't believe this. Honestly, embarrassing, guys. Embarrassing. I can't believe this.
You know, it was a pretty wild weekly overall, guys. I really enjoyed the European Pro Tour Weekly because we have so many signups each and every single week, and I think we have a lot of the top tier pros playing too. But for instance, Lambo, who doesn't play every week, he lost to Aquaron, and I think that's a proper upset. Obviously, Gabe losing against Hero, with Hero also playing from Korea. It felt like there were surprises left, right, and center. And even though Mana is great, if you tell me that Mana is gonna 2-0 Showtime, I also wouldn't really predict that. I don't know. Anything else you guys want to say about this edition? I thought it was a pretty wild one.
No, not
Yeah,
really.
there was like a lot of upset, but I feel like it's also what happens sometimes in these weeklies. Even in the NA one, you sometimes see like Zest, for example, getting like 2-0 by some guy you don't really think he would 2-0 Zest, you know. So like I feel
But
like
that's just test,
it's
you
also a
know.
weekly thing that happens sometimes. Like in these weeklies, sometimes there's like these upsets.
It does keep it fun, right? It does keep it fresh because if
Mhm.
we see the same 4 guys every week in the semis, then it takes away some of the magic. All right, now we can go back to the Korean weekly that did happen as well. I'm sorry that I kind of skipped over that. We had Parting winning the Korean weekly 3-1 over Zest. Reynor, a lot of Protosses in this tournament, as you can take a proper look at this one. You surprised Parting managed to win this one?
I'm kind of surprised they won 3-0 against DRG, but seems like DRG is kind of struggling right now. And I think if Solar won against DRG, he would win the entire thing. But I heard Parting's PvP is actually really good, so I'm not surprised he won against us.
Anything that stands out for you, Clem or Yona?
Not really. I actually do disagree that I think Parting is a PVC expert to some extent with his nasty cheeses. So to be honest, I think he would have had a good chance against Solar and everyone. But in general, the bracket doesn't really surprise me too much.
I think just maybe Is it Cure losing to Hero 2-0? I think that's a little bit surprising, to be honest.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
a hero to
Yeah, I feel like Cure's TVP is usually looking very good these days. So just like yeah, pretty surprising. But other than that, not that much.
Well, we'll
I
talk
think
more about
Hero.
TV.
I don't think Hero winning is a surprise. These guys, and actually it's nice.
Sorry, the internet has been a little bit unstable for you. You know, I know sometimes you sound perfectly fine, and then sometimes you cut up a little bit. But can you say that one more time?
I was just saying that Hero is a pretty much a pretty big sniper, so I don't see him winning it as a big surprise ever. I'm pretty excited to see actually how well he's gonna do, because he was one of the more exciting players for sure before he went to military.
Alrighty. Well, then let's move on to the last weekly where we did have the American weekly, number 80 as well. And our very own Clementine actually had a pretty good run. Oh, wow, you played Vanya in this semi. Look at Vanya go. I didn't even know that Vanya had such a great run. We already spoke about this before we went live, but Clem, when the European weekly doesn't work out, the fire is burning to set the record straight in NA.
Yeah, it's I'm more motivated to play the NA one when the EU one doesn't go well because I'm like I gotta get a win somewhere and get some confidence back, and so I'm just trying to like, and also some practice because it's also good practice to just play a lot of matches. And yeah, this weekly did go okay. I feel like I played pretty well until the finals maybe where I probably could have played a bit better against that, but it was also looking really strong, so not too sure. And yeah, the TVP against Korean is also not easy. And yeah, it was a tough finals, but other than that, some nice games I would say.
What time were the grand finals for you?
Maybe like 5 or 6, I don't know.
You warrior of the night. Do you feel like at that point it really does start affecting the way that you play as well?
Yeah, I think so. If it's just before my bedtime, yeah, I can like clearly see I'm like a little bit slow, a little bit sloppy, and it's not as good as I want it to be.
And if there is ever a 50-50 moment on whether or not you want to drop a third command center and play some Ghost Liberator or just end it, it's pretty much always going to be ended, right?
Yeah, that's pretty true. Or even just in TVP in general, that's also the case.
Well, we'll talk more about that later as well. Then, of course, we have the GSL currently going on. We are getting close towards the end of our second season. One of the semifinals has been played, and well, it wasn't the greatest semifinal. It was a 4-0 even, because they're playing best of sevens in the semis. Clem, I'm sure you've been watching those games. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it was some tough game for Bunny. Yeah, it was just like a rough match overall. I feel like it's the kind of matches where nothing really went Bunny's way. That's kind of fortunate. Like the build orders didn't really they were not too good for Bunny. Like for example, I think there was two games where Bunny went for like a fast 3CZ and some bio play, like some fast racks and steam pack, and Trap went for a 4 gate blink. Like that happened like twice, and that's almost just a build order loss. That's like a bit unfortunate. And then the proxy void ray. Also like, yeah, it was just some tough games overall. What happens sometimes.
You know, and you guys can obviously disagree as much as you want, but I always feel that Bunny is really like the ultimate kind of momentum guy. Like if things go well and he gets into these crazy games and then he closes this out, it feels like he gets wings and he just starts playing better and better and it's fast, but he does really have these moments where it just feels like the wheels are coming off and then it starts falling apart real quick. Do you guys agree with that assessment? Possibly do to fix that? Because he's clearly a very good StarCraft 2 player.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's just I don't think you can fix this kind of stuff. Honestly, it's just mindset kind of thing. So yeah, it's I'm not sure how to fix it, but yeah, I kind of agree.
Like Yona, you have made an insane amount of comebacks in your career, especially obviously the crazy 2018 year that you had. There were so many series where you're down 1-2 and even losing the final game potentially, or you're down 0-2 and you still turn it around. Like, do you recognize any of this? Like, what do you think Bunny could do to maybe get it together a little bit in some of these bigger series?
Well, like Reynor said, I think it's very hard to say. It's just a mental thing, and fixing that kind of stuff isn't very easy. But Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really an expert mental coach myself, so can't really tell. But it's really hard to fix. Kind of just needs to have the skill of zeroing after games and going into the next game with open mind. Maybe he thinks about the previous game a bit too much or something. It's really hard to say.
You know, Clem, obviously as a diehard Terran player yourself, it does make me sad because I'm a bit of a Bunny fanboy, and I know that he maybe doesn't always play like the perfect strategies or the perfect style, but he's such a fun and exciting guy to watch, and he's been around for so long. I would really love to just see him go all the way once. And I feel like he has the skills to beat almost anyone at any given day, but he seems to not be able to do it at some of the biggest moments or like when it matters the most or 5 6 times in a row. It's always like with some gaps and losses in between. How do you look at it as a fellow Terran?
Yeah, that's true. But like this series against Trap, I could really like feel the pain of running. Like it's sometimes it's just and it's the case for like every race and every like StarCraft player. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way, and that's pretty much just how it is. It doesn't really like yeah, you can't really get into the match, and it can be tough sometimes. But I would also love to see Bonnie do very well and even like win a GSR also. It would be really cool. But yeah, I'm a big Bunny fan myself. I think he's a really cool guy, and I would also love to see him do even better. But it's also already a pretty good run for him, right? Like
It
round
is.
of four is like the best Terran in GSL. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, no, totally, of course. So we shouldn't all focus on the one series that he lost, but it's just a shame that a run like that comes to an end like that. Like if he would have put up one hell of a fight and he loses in a nail-biting 7 game series, you'd be like, all right, it is what it is. It's trap, but yeah, now it feels like it's such a great run. It's such a good season, but it will still leave you pretty disappointed afterwards because that was one of the quickest best of sevens we've seen in a long time. And that obviously just sucks. We've got an upcoming semifinal as well that is happening tomorrow. Dark Parting. Your expectations, Reynor?
My expectations? I don't know, man. Dark is quite a character, you know. He kind of plays like he feels like it. You know, I'm not sure how he plays in PvZ. I just see him make a lot of archeries, a lot of links, and just goes with the flow. I'm not sure. Parting is very good in PvZ, and I'm actually not sure if Dark knows how to react on most of the stuff that Parting does. So I think it's gonna be a win from Parting.
What do you say, Yona?
Mm, I'm not sure if I'm overestimating Parting, but I do feel like he's gonna somewhat easily win that match. But at the same time, I do think if the game gets longer, Dart's probably gonna win most of them. But I don't know, I just feel like Parting's gonna have some nasty little all-ins or kind of rapid or something. He's gonna get cheeky wins. So yeah, I'm thinking Parting as well. But I do think if Parting just lets Dart do what he wants, then it's probably a favorite going in that one.
All right, Clem, with Trap, Dark, and Parting left, who's winning GSL Codas this season?
I'm feeling trapped again. Well, he didn't win last season,
No, he's
but
never
yeah,
won an actual Codas. He won like
yeah.
so many super tournaments, but he never won the
Yeah,
actual
that's true.
Codas.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. Yeah, I'm feeling trapped. I think he's like looking so good right now. I think he's like, well, probably the best Protoss, right? If I had to say. Well, we'll see what happens in the finals, but yeah, Trapp is looking real good, and I don't really know who I would predict for Dark Parting. I'm not like a ZVP expert, but yeah, I think Trapp is gonna take it. Even though I
Reynor?
would really like to see Parting take it too.
Who wins GSL Codas, Reynor?
Well, if he gets to Parting against Trap, I think Parting is gonna win. Actually, you know, he's kind of a nasty player in general, but I've seen him do some cheeky stuff in PvP as well. And yeah, I think if it gets to Parting against Trap, is Parting is gonna take it. But if he gets to Dark against Trap, I would bet on Trap.
Yona, agree?
Yep, exactly. I agree with Reynor there. I think, yeah, let's just say, yeah. I think that's pretty accurate for him.
All right, well, guys, there you have it. Tomorrow, that's happening, the semifinals, and I guess the finals happens a little bit down the line. That was it for our beginning of the show where we talk about the weeklies. Obviously, there's nothing to talk about when it comes to the DreamHack SC2 Masters fall yet, But the qualifiers have started. Yesterday was the first Open NA qualifier. Today at 6 p.m. there is the first Open European qualifier. And then on Friday there's another one. And throughout the weekend we have the big qualifiers that will form the lineup for the actual DreamHack StarCraft 2 Masters Fall 2021. These three gentlemen, they've all already been invited based upon their EPT ranking and performance in the previous season. But it's going to be a big weekend for a lot of ambitious StarCraft 2 players out there. I definitely want to ask you guys, name one player right now in the European scene that has never made it to the DreamHack Masters before, but that is going to qualify this time. Clem, you're first.
Mm, I think Battle B would be a good guess. I think it never qualified before, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that would be my guess.
Reynor?
Well, obviously I have to say my brother, man. That guy's he's a real tank. He's a killer. He's gonna make it.
I love it. Baby Marine to qualify for DreamHack. Why not? Yona, any new faces entering this season?
Well, it's one of the Finns for sure. I'll go with. Let's go with Mixu this time. I mean, I'm hoping for other Finns, but I think Mixu got to the close qualifier last time, but didn't quite make it to the actual DreamHack Masters. So I'll say him.
I'd love to see it. I definitely hope that we have a few players enter the DreamHack Masters that have never made it before. That's all happening this weekend, so we'll talk more about it next week when we know the actual lineup. Because the DreamHack SC2 Masters Fall is starting real soon. I believe the first official broadcast is on the 28th of July. We'll talk about that. Clem, you're black and white. What happened?
Yeah,
I was laughing about that. That's so fun.
Okay. I actually clicked on my OBS by accident, and it just made my cam like, okay, let me be OP.
Okay. All right, well, guys, that was it for the top of the show. This is just something I want to cover in the beginning so people know A, where they can watch stuff, and B, where they can find it. Obviously, the DreamHack Masters will take place on ESL_SC2. The GSL takes place over at YouTube, and all the qualifiers, they're broadcasted on the various community channels. StatFest will be covering all of it, Wadi, myself, Zombie Grub, and a whole bunch of other native casters as well in their own languages. So look forward to a lot of StarCraft 2 in the upcoming days. This now gives us the opportunity to just actually sit down, guys, and let's chat. Chat about life.
Let's talk about life.
Let's talk about life. You know what? We'll start off with you after you won the DreamHack SC2 Masters Summer, the season finals. What have you been up to since, Reynor?
Well, I wanted to take some time off, but I really couldn't, honestly, because I was busy with school exams and stuff. So my plan right now is to take a little vacation while playing the Europe fall part. So yeah, I'm probably gonna play that one from my vacation house. You know, it's gonna be sick.
Speaking of playing from a vacation house, Yona, I believe that you played TSL from a vacation house, correct?
Well, only the last match, but I did, yeah, from a summer cottage.
Yep. Was it okay? Did you feel like you could play as well as you could from home, or?
Well, it's always a little bit different, but I mean, I think I played a little bit worse, but at the same time, I think I brought my PC and my monitor, so I pretty much had the same setup. Just the chair was a little different, table was a little different, and those kind of small things. I'm pretty good at adjusting to that kind of stuff, though. So I wouldn't say it impacted too much, but obviously it always matters a little bit.
Obviously, after the DreamHack Masters Summer, where you did not make top 4 for the first time, you tweeted out basically saying like, all right, well, this is as worse as it's going to get. It can only get better from here. It seemed like you were going to take some time off, just a couple of weeks to relax. Is that what you've been doing? And how do you spend your time at that point?
Well, yeah, I took Sam too pretty much. I think I almost took a month. Mike again going?
Yeah, sorry, it goes like on and off. Maybe it might
Where
be
is
worth
it?
like. Now it's fine again. Sometimes it's like the first second and then you're good, but go on.
Quite interesting. But yeah, I think I'll do like 3.5 weeks or something. And, yeah, I was just going around a little bit of summer cottages. My parents one and my grandparents. Just normal stuff, fishing, some fishing. Didn't really golf too much, but a little bit I did. And Yeah, just very normal stuff. Not being too much on the PC, just to get a little bit of a break from that. Since if I'm at home, I normally just open the PC every day, and even though I don't play StarCraft, might play something else. So it's nice to get out of home and just not have the PC as an option even.
No, absolutely. I can only agree with
Kevin,
that. Yeah.
my vacations look almost the same. Some fishing, some golfing. Yeah, pretty much the same actually.
I don't believe any of that, but we'll get to that soon. Yona, while you're away from the PC, do you still like watch some streams on your phone? Do you still think about StarCraft, or do you really just try to take like a full break for 2 weeks straight?
Not really. I mean, I watched some of the GSL games on my phone, but that's pretty much it. So I wouldn't say I mean, I don't think about StarCraft at least, but I wouldn't say I watch too much either. If I'm really bored, I might watch some, but other than that, not really. Just kind of want to get my mind completely out of it and come completely fresh back.
Hey Ma, for you it was interesting, right? Because you had your big high winning the DreamHack SC2 Masters Summit in Europe, and I feel that all three of you guys genuinely care about being the reigning European champ. So that felt really good. But then after that, it felt like it started going downhill for you a little bit. Obviously, the season finals didn't work out. Some of the other tournaments didn't work out. Did you also take a little break? I believe you went on a little holiday somewhere, right?
So I took a little break after I won the DreamHack Europe. And when I came back, I couldn't really play anymore. So then the last few weeks and days when people would be like, Clem, just take a break. I would be like, no, I have to play more. I have to practice. So yeah, I've just been playing some StarCraft and trying to like, yeah, just trying to make it so my play feels nice again and yeah, so I can gain a bit of confidence again. So yeah, took a little bit of a break after the DreamHack Europe, but now I'm practicing a lot.
Well, Reynor, you said that you've been busy with exams, but you also, I know that you already took some time off and now you're going to take more time off. So fishing it is, or?
Some fishing, some golfing. You're staring at the lakes. That's my kind of vacation, man. You know it, Kevin.
Seen pictures of you staring into the ocean.
Yeah.
Like I see those Instagram pictures where you pretend that you don't know the picture is being taken. I'm like, oh my God, Reynor.
Exactly. Like this kind of influencers. You gotta be one of them. You gotta be one of them to beat them. So yeah, just I'm letting the influencers of Instagram know they have a competition right now.
Well, before we talk a little bit about the DreamHack Fall and expectations and stuff getting into, I have a generic question, and all three of you guys can just banter with each other. It's been almost a year and a half now without any proper offline competition. Is it hard for you guys to just keep the motivation up? Because yes, these online tournaments are big and they are prestigious, but obviously you're missing some of the fun that you used to have. And all three of you guys have traveled. Yona perhaps the most, but even Clem, before you got as good as you currently are, you were already participating in the circuit too. Are you guys struggling with basically everything being online?
Yes. Personally, yes. Like I've at some point a while ago, I was asking myself, like, I don't feel anymore being a pro gamer because I'm just coming here playing games. Yes, I win, but it's not the same feeling anymore. So yeah, I'm just personally looking forward to the next event, like the next offline event. Yeah, so much.
Yeah,
For me, yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
no, okay. So yeah, like for me, I think I was really hoping for the last season finals to be offline. Um, but yeah, maybe the next one, who knows? But yeah, I really want the offline events to come back. That would be like super cool. And I think it's also really motivating going to offline events. Because well, it's been a while now, but I remember when I would lose a bit my motivation, going to an offline event would make me like really motivated again to practice and stuff. And like seeing other people play, like talking to other players and stuff, and just hanging out with each other is always really cool. And yeah, it would be really nice.
Yeah, for me personally, I think the first time was like 1 year. I don't think it affected too much my motivation, especially. But yeah, I mean, I kind of hate traveling anyways. But obviously, I want offline events, and like I said, I don't think at the start it didn't really matter too much to me. I kind of still had the same motivation. Obviously, wanted to go to events, but it is what it is. Uh, get practicing. But I have to say, maybe the last half year it's been a little bit more on the side of losing a little bit of motivation and kind of just want to get the big events. Maybe that's partially also because I'm doing a little bit worse now, so that might also have something to do with it. But in general, obviously want to get to big events and offline ones just to see people and get the kind of the event feeling. I feel like these online events, it's kind of hard to get in the mood of playing a big tournament because you're playing from the home conditions completely.
Would you go as far to say that you miss us a little bit, Yona?
Not sure about that, but maybe a little tad.
We'll take it. We'll take the little victories we
That's
can
a
get.
W if I've ever seen one.
Dull for all of us, guys. All right, the DreamHack Masters Fall is coming up. Clem, when you see this tournament coming up, does it change anything for you that you're the reigning defending champ, or are you just looking at it like, no, I just want to get back into a big competition and I just want to win again?
Yeah, like winning twice in a row was already really cool, but winning 3 times in a row would be like even better. And yeah, well, I feel like the last seasons I was a bit more confident going into the tournament than this season, but I think it's gonna be fine, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to the games and see how I do and see everyone does.
It's funny, right? Because actually, at the start of the last season, in a weird way, you were the favorite because you were just winning all the weeklies, and you were obviously doing very well against the two Zergis on this call, and everyone was kind of looking at you to win the European DreamHack Masters, and you did. So you lived up to the expectations. Obviously, some pressure coming on your shoulders. Where sure you've won it before, but it's still like a pretty big pressure or burden to carry around, I guess. And now this time, it's in a weird way, it's different because you've won it now twice in a row. But now, maybe if we start the season, would you still say that you're the big favorite or just one of the favorites?
I don't know. I don't think I'm like the big favorite. I think it's just like yeah. I'm one of the favorites. If I can play my best and if I can like focus and just play the best I can. But I don't think I'm like the favorite anymore. But even last season, I wasn't even sure I was the big favorite because okay, I was winning the weeklies and stuff, but yeah, I wasn't even sure I was like the big favorite necessarily. But yeah, this season, yeah, maybe a little bit less confidence, but yeah, need to be careful about those Protosses.
The Protoss. Reynor, if you look back at Masters Summer, you are the runner-up of Europe. You win the season finals. Is that a big enough dub for you, or will you settle for nothing than winning 2 out of 2?
You know me, Kevin. I always want to win. I just can't settle for less because that's not the way I think. I always aim for the first place because once you start to settle down for second places and third places, you're gonna keep getting worse. That's my thought process. So yeah, I always aim for the win. But I'm not sure for the Europe one because I'm gonna be playing on vacation. So I'll just for this time maybe I can settle down for qualifying for the season finals and maybe win that one. You know.
Yona, obviously, you said it cannot get any worse than the top 6 finish you had last season. I know that you're not big on making predictions or saying that you're going to win this kind of tournament and stuff, but do you really want to make like a proper strong comeback? Like if you just qualify for the season finals, let's say you have a top 4 finish, would that satisfy you?
Well, anything less than winning never satisfies me. But to be honest, with qualifying, I'd be already a little bit happy, just because that's still improvement. And I mean, it can still get worse, but I can still get worse results as well. But obviously, in my mind, if I don't qualify, it's already pretty bad. So I guess that's what I meant with the tweet, that if I don't qualify, it doesn't really matter too much if I'm 8th or 6th. But yeah, obviously, I want to win always. Kind of still have that mindset. I don't really like losing hatred too much. Yeah, that's always the thing I'm going for. But it's always a little bit harder said than done than said.
You guys hyped for it though? You guys ready to get back into the mix?
Honestly, yes. I think I was kind of washed last European part. I think I kind of improved. So yeah, looking forward to what I can do this time.
Yeah. I feel like that's always what you say though. You're like, yeah, I changed some stuff. I like have new strategies and stuff. Like I think that the last time, you said something like, yeah, I have like a new play style or like a new way to play, and it was just literally making two more queens for the creeps, right? It was like, okay, well, well, yeah.
Well, come on, kid, shut up. First of all, I invented the nine queens, and everyone is following my path. And
No,
yes, I
Snoot
did. Come on.
invented that. Snoot
No,
invented
Snoot
that 10
invented
years
the
ago.
nine queens in the front. I invented the three for injecting, the three for creep on one side, and the three for creep on the other side. So let's not talk shit about the nine queen style, please. And yeah, no, I actually think I was pretending to be on point for the European part, the last one, but you feel it. Like sometimes you don't have your injects on point, or your micro is kind of slips a bit, and I didn't feel that during the season finals. I might be washed again because I didn't play for a while, but yeah, we'll see. I'll update you guys.
All right. I enjoyed that part. Guys, obviously, we had the TLMC recently. Now, the maps that happened in this TLMC are not actually the maps that are going to make it into the next map pool. Those are the maps that from the previous TLMC, so it's a bit hard to say. But, Clem, I did know that you participated in the TLMC. Anything good about those new maps? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, well, I'm not entirely sure. There are some like really nice maps. And I think the most two-player maps were looking pretty nice. I'm just not a big fan of the four-player ones. And there was a couple of them, but just not a big fan of these ones. But otherwise, they were looking fine.
I assume that at this point, all three of you guys are a little bit tired of our current 7 maps. Is that safe to say?
Yeah.
Kind of. Not
Yeah.
really though. I don't mind the maps too much, especially in PVZ. But TVZ I kinda do mind them, broken maps. So yeah, let's change them.
Yeah, but like, do you want them to change, or is it just like would you like if they would change more and like mm, maybe if there would be more than 7 maps, or like if they would change like more often?
And more often maybe more than 7 maps. I'm not sure. It would take 3 days to V to the map. So I'm not sure. I don't mind 7. We've been playing with 7 for a lot of years now, and I think we can keep it that way. But if they do change them more often, I would like it. Just don't change it before 1 week before the IM Katowice next year, please.
Yeah, I'd like a lot of changes on the maps as well. And to be honest, I guess that also matters if I like the map pool or not. This one I don't like too much in any matchups, to be honest. Versus CVP, I don't really ever mind any maps. I think that matchup isn't too map dependent. But yeah, I'd like to see them. At least right now with this map pool, I'd like to see them maybe like once in 3 months or something. Maybe once in 4 months. Always change the pool a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like I personally always just get some more motivation when I look at something different again. It's not so much about if it's like good or not, but it does make the game feel a bit fresher. And I also feel like our current map, it's a bit grim. Like all the maps they're a bit dark. There isn't no grass anywhere, nothing green. I kind of miss just having a different look, looking at some different maps. I feel like it always makes the game feel a bit fresher and stuff. But yeah, that should be coming soon, and I'm sure that we'll have more to talk about when we actually play on some different maps. All right, there is one thing that I need to address. It's the big elephant in the room. You guys watch streams too. I see you always memeing in the chat, Clem. The amount of Protosses on the European ladder. What is happening? What is the cause of this? Where are they coming from, Clem? And why does everyone only play PvP or against Protoss?
I'm actually really not sure, cause yeah, like the last few days I was like, okay, I gotta practice some TVP, because I feel really bad in TVP, so I just gotta like play a lot of TVPs, and so I was just like queuing some ladder, or like most of the day I was just queuing some ladder and always running to Protosses. Like if I just want to practice some TVP, I just queue a ladder game. I don't even like have to go in like custom games against a certain player. I just queue some ladder games and get some TVPs. So yeah, I feel like we just all get Protosses right now on the ladder, and yeah, I'm not entirely sure why. But yeah, right now it's yeah. I think it's even worse around like Or like the Muslims MMO, right? Because like the amount of Protoss in C players, I think it's even like crazier than the mode I play.
Where are they coming from, Reynor? Why are there so many all of a
You
sudden?
know, Kevin, they're just hard-working players. You know, they work all day. That's why we run into them. You know, the Zergs and Terrans don't practice. It's not like TOS is fucking easy to play, and that's the reason there's 130 Protoss players in GM out of 200. That's absolutely not the reason. They just work harder than us.
Yona, what do you make of that speech?
Mm, well, I think it's pretty accurate, but the same. Well, I don't really know why there's so many process, but personally, I don't mind even playing CVP. So playing every day, all day against process isn't really a problem for me. It's my favorite matchups, anyways.
But we used to be a Zerg region. We always had more Zergs on the European ladder, even high-level Zergs, than the other races. I personally really think that it's not that the Zergs are gone, because obviously when Dreamer comes around, you'll still have, like, not just you guys, but you have Elaser and Lambo having good runs, and there's still quite a few others that are always around, the Denvers, the Vanyas, the list goes on. I have the feeling that they're playing less because it seems like most of them don't enjoy CVP. It's not even a matter of balance so much, but are the Void Rays to blame for the amount of Protosses we have, and are the Zergs playing less ladder because of it?
So it's first in Serral, I always played a little bit less. Well, not always, like you mentioned before, but at least the current player pool plays just a lot of customs, in my opinion. And that obviously has an effect on it. I'm not sure if it's because they prefer customs games or just because ladder is only pros pretty much. But I do feel like they do enjoy custom games a bit more.
Is that accurate, Rainer?
Well, honestly, for my experience, I play less ladder because I keep running into the 6-5 barcode Protoss players that spam Void Rays all day, and it could be anyone, like could actually be anyone. And yeah, it's kind of boring at this point. My games all look the same. They either camp into skytoss, and then they get there and they have no clue what they're doing, or they just kind of fake Void Ray and all in. It's always the same, honestly. It's kind of boring.
What do you make of it, Clem?
Yeah, well, sometimes when I see like the GVPs with the Max Void Ray and like the big like skytoss tournaments and stuff, I'm like, okay, for once I'm happy I'm not like Zerg or Protoss because I don't really like CVP. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of TVP either right now. Yeah, just not a big fan of the matchup. I really like TVZ though. I think TVZ is really nice.
Oh yeah,
And
you do.
yeah,
Really? Oh
yeah.
yeah. Leaving 50 mines on the map, kind of fun, right, Clem? Can't really do that
That's
against
pretty
us and
fun. That's pretty
observers.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. But yeah, TVP not that much. Yeah, a little bit more gambly, a little bit weird. Yeah.
I mean, it kind of brings me into my next question. I just kind of wanted to ask you guys about the state of the game overall, not just Void Rays or Protosses on the ladder. Clem, you already said that you're enjoying TVZ. TVP, maybe not so much. What about TVT? And just as a fan overall, what do you make of the state of the game?
Mm, um, I think TVT is fine. It's maybe the only thing you could say is the Raven opening. Like every game being a Raven, like a 1 or 2 Raven opening, or even 3, is could be a little boring. But I think TVT is fine. Like there's not that much to say. TVT is just TVT. It's okay. It's not bad. Yeah, I enjoy TVT. I don't like TVP too much. And in general, I think the mirror matchups are in a good spot. Like TVT, PvP, ZVZ. I think they're all like pretty interesting in my opinion. Um, and yeah, I'm not too sure about ZVP. I don't play it that much. But I don't necessarily enjoy watching it that much either. So yeah, I'm not too sure.
Rainer, the state of the game.
I think yeah, Yona has a lot to say on ZVZ, and I think you should let him go first. I know he's a big fan of the Mutas, and yeah, just let him go first, please. I want to hear this one.
I mean, I have nothing against the Mutas, but CVC it gives me nightmares in all honesty. Not my don't really enjoy it too much, and yeah, just not my piece of cake for sure. That matchup. And I feel like CVP is a bit too stale, but to be honest, I don't really personally mind it insane amounts just because I do like playing the late game, and that's kind of the way you have to go in CVP right now. You have some pushes or attacks, but they're not really very consistent in my opinion. So it's a bit stale for sure. Not the best to watch, but I personally am not the biggest hater of the matchup. And CVT has always been pretty much the same, action packed, and just a pretty good matchup for everyone, for players and people watching for sure.
Reynor?
Yeah, I mean, CVP is kind of boring, as I said before, but I don't think it's imbalanced. It's kind of just always the same thing, honestly. Like Protoss trying to survive until skytoss, and then yeah, it's just boring, honestly. Like my PVZs are always the same. I see disruptors, I have to do this thing. I see high templars, I have to do this thing. It's always the same. So yeah, I wish they would kind of change that. ZVZ is very fun, honestly. Like I like chaos, I like wild games, and yeah, I think I thrive in ZVZ and ZVT. I have a deep hatred for the mines, and yeah, I kind of dream the mines every night, and it's not a pleasant feeling. But yeah, I think TVZ is fine as well. Honestly, it's just a bit annoying.
I agree with what you said, by the way, Clem, that I think the mirror matchups are honestly damn fun to watch. I personally think the TVT, like sometimes the first 7 minutes is like there's either action or there's like, all right, we're gonna macro up, especially on Romantic side. Like that part,
Yeah. That's what I was to say. Like, I think it's really map dependent. Like on the
yeah.
romantic side, I think it's really boring because it's just like such a defensive map. You kind of have to make Vikings stay at home and go for like the mid game or the late game. But on some other maps that are a bit more open, a bit more aggressive oriented, it can be really fun.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I find PvP very fun to watch. To play maybe a bit less, but it's fun to watch. I think a lot of action, and ZVZ has honestly been my favorite mirror matchup for the last 2 years, just because of the amount of mind games. And I know Midos can be annoying to play against, but it's definitely fun to watch all the different ways of how you can get there. But I have a question for you guys, because you're talking a lot about the skytoss, but I feel like this is not only a European thing, but do you guys think that it's the exact same state of the game over in the Korean scene? Or would you say that you see a lot more ground kind of based armies there?
Absolutely not, man. Those guys in Korea, they're wild. I have no clue what's going on over there. Maybe they have a different version of the game that we don't have because, when I play the Koreans, they don't seem like they're not taking up to sky toss. I'm like, I'm just chilling over there with 20 lurkers and they're just spamming zealots into me. Especially people like Zest, Trap. I've seen Trap play late game and it felt like he has never been there before in PvZ and that's quite kind of wild, honestly, to me because it's your strongest. It's the strongest part of toss, just the late game in general. So it kind of seems crazy that those guys don't want to get there.
What do you think, Jonah?
Well, it's hard to always say. I do agree that it's very different there. The part that I'm not sure about is that maybe it's just that in practice they do lose a lot of late games, and that's why they don't actually want to go there. That's the part that I'm not sure about if that's happening or not. But I do agree that in most cases, especially against lurkers, just going taking the carrier instantly is the way to go about it. And yeah, they do play a bit differently. Not really sure why. I haven't really had any conversations with them to know exactly.
You look at the Korean Terrans, Clem, do you feel like they play a very different game than you saw your Thermal Gabe? Or do you think it's pretty similar?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty similar. Also, because we like watch their games a lot and like we try to like try to play as well as they do. But yeah, I think it's pretty similar. Like just the kind of the same build orders and sometimes the Korean meta is a little bit red. Like they're gonna do a certain build and then we're gonna start doing it a little bit later. But otherwise it's like yeah pretty similar I would say.
Maybe a slightly more generic question. Have you guys been following the GSL intensely this season? And what do you make of the level? Are you guys like impressed when you watch the games, or do you think it's actually a bit underwhelming sometimes? I'll let you go first, Yona.
Well, I mean, StarCraft 2 is always a little bit underwhelming sometimes, but that's just how tournaments work. I think their level's very good still and has always been, but obviously in tournaments sometimes you have weaker games and a bit of a clone fiestas for sure happening.
Reynor, enjoyment of this season of the GSL. Have you been having fun watching it, and are you impressed by the games?
I mean, I don't watch GSL too much, but when I do, it's always kind of underwhelming. But I think that's because the GSL is a very preparation-based style tournament. So if a guy prepares very well and the other guy has no clue what to do against the other guy, it's always gonna be a 3-0 and proxy racks and just auto win or even in ZVP. Like it could be a link flood, a queen walk, and another link flood because they saw something that Toss is doing wrong. But so yeah, I think it's always kind of underwhelming, honestly.
Emma?
Yeah, for me, I would say maybe it's because Bonnie was the only Terran in the round of 8 that I kind of lost a bit of motivation watching GFL, but I still enjoyed watching Bonnie's run. But overall, I feel like I wasn't like that, maybe not that interested. Like I watched all the games and stuff, but I don't know, I wasn't like super invested. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh, that's fair. Are you guys close to any of the Koreans? Because I obviously know you three, you're all rivals of each other, but I know you guys get along very well. And the same goes for a lot of the other top tier pros in Europe. You guys, yeah, sure, you compete, but it's very obvious that you guys are all friends. Are you guys like close friends or have close contacts with any of the Korean players?
Mm, well, no, not really. Like since offline events are gone, I don't remember. Maybe Bani. Bani is the closest one. Like I talk to Bani sometimes because we obviously played the War Chess Team League together, and he's a very cool guy. And yeah, sometimes I message him, but not really since offline events are gone. I don't really talk to them anymore. But yeah, when offline events were a thing, where there were a couple of Koreans that were very friendly, and they would come and talk to you, and yeah, that was fun.
Emma?
Yeah, for me, I think it's a bit the same as Reynor. I think the Koreans, like a lot of them are like super nice. But since the offline tournaments or like haven't been happening, yeah, I don't think I've been talking to that many Koreans. Well, I've been talking to a couple of them, but it's mostly for just for practice more than like yeah, just like friendly relationship.
Yona?
Yeah, not really too much hatred.
Just kind of on your own. Do they
Yeah,
never do they
I
never reach out to you?
well, I played with some of them, but we were talking about friendly relationships. They're not practice and relationships. But yeah, I do play with some of them sometimes. Not too often, to be honest. But I played a couple times. To be fair, when it comes to some kind of solo worker in a way, I like to do my own thing and not talk too much about anything StarCraft related, at least with other people too much.
Obviously, guys, we've got a Q&A coming up as well. I see people asking me, Roddy asked this and Roddy asked that. There is a Patreon Q&A over at ThePylonShow.com. That's where you can submit your questions. That's the way the Pylon Show has always done it, and that is also what allows us to run the Pylon Show, or, well, at least run Cobra. Allows Cobra to run the Pylon Show with the help of some other people, and now I am on board too. But I have a few more funny things for you guys before we hop into the Patreon Q&A. And one thing I just want to ask you, Yona, is that 2018 was a ridiculously good year for you. Like it wasn't just good; it was pretty surreal. 2019, I think it's safe to say, was still an excellent year for you. Maybe not quite 2018 hype, but it was still a very good year for you. Is it hard to really keep that fire there? Because I feel like you didn't just reach the high, but you reached pretty much the highest of highs. How do you continue? How do you keep motivating yourself?
I mean, I've always been really competitive and I just like winning, so keeping the motivation up and keeping the fire to play hasn't been really that hard ever to me. I never really been after a win that's good enough for me or losing motivation. I always kind of after events get back to practice and just want to win more. But yeah, obviously like you mentioned, last year was a little bit, and it's been a bit of a downhill. But I'm hoping to turn it around for this year still, and have a very nice end of the year at least.
But it's always going to be hard to get close to anything that you did in 2018, right? Or do you still believe that you can have one more monstrous streak where you just win everything for 9 months in a row?
Probably not. Right now it seems pretty unlikely, but you can always hope, at least.
The fire is still there. The fighting spirit is strong.
Yeah, I would say I always had a pretty high fighting spirit, and like I said, I don't really like losing. I'm really competitive, so when I lose, it gives me a lot of motivation to keep practicing. But I'm not sure if I'll keep if these losing streaks would keep going. I'm not sure if then it would be maybe a little bit of motivation lose as well. But for now, at least, I'm still just always gaining a little bit of that fire every time I lose.
I mean, I think for you, Clem, it's obviously easy to be motivated because you still want to get that big offline victory. Because yes, you have been winning big tournaments, but they happen in the COVID times. Reynor, second place at a BlizzCon. You win Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, which technically is the biggest tournament you could possibly win right now. But I'm sure that it doesn't feel quite the same like lifting the trophy offline.
Obviously, man, the plan is to win next year as well. Honestly, I don't want to stop here. I like winning. Who doesn't? And yeah, the plan is just to keep winning.
Would the career not be complete if you don't win IEM offline?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Clem and Reynor, you guys both always call each other kid. Who's the real kid?
Clem.
No, what do you mean? I'm older. Like I'm actually
No,
older.
you're just
You're like legit a kid.
no, you're just a kid over here. Like there's no discussion about it. We all know you're the
Not
kid.
true.
Yeah, come on, admit it, Clem.
I'm literally older. That I can.
I think we can settle this with a boxing fight or something.
Boxing fights.
Come on.
We could
Yeah,
do
we
something else than boxing. What about that?
What about rock climbing? That seems more
What
fair.
about fishing competition?
I wasn't being very good at it.
What did you think when he started calling you kid, Clem, even though you're older than him?
I don't know. I feel like I don't even remember the first time they started calling me kid, but I feel like it's just forever. We're just calling each other kids.
Yeah, I've been calling Clem a kid since he was an actual kid, and he's been doing the same. So, but I just was the first one to do it publicly, you know. And now I get shit on because I call him kid, even though he's a kid, and he calls me
How
kid as
rude!
well.
How rude!
I
So
remember
it's
there was a home story cup once, and I was not maybe the first home story cup for you guys, but one of the first. And you guys were both walking around on Saturday night, and you were kind of taking care of Clem a little bit, and you're like, "Don't worry, he's my little bro." And then everyone's like, "He's not the little bro. You're the little bro here, Rainer."
that was you mean which one was it?
It was in Krefeld, not we're not talking about Home Story Cup 20, but it was one
Okay,
in Krefeld, man.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Cap 20 was proper banger as well. Let's leave it at that.
Did you
Also
enjoy
very-
Home Story Cup 20 as much as everyone else, Yona?
I don't remember what was home story.
It was in a water park.
So that was yeah. So you're talking about the last offline one.
Yes.
I mean, I enjoyed it as much as the other home story cups. Always fun times. I always said it's not necessarily my style of a tournament, but still always fun. A lot of good memories from that one, just from winning it, I guess.
Come on, but that was more than just winning. Come on, Yona. We are in a water park
Oh,
together, special environment, all your friends are there. That has to be a little special for you too.
Yeah, but that's like the second thing. It's still winning is the thing that comes out of it as like the biggest memory, right? But obviously, it's always fun times there, and I mean that's always home story cups. So I don't think that was like way more fun than the normal home story cup setups are.
I don't disagree with you often, Yona, but I'm gonna disagree with you on that.
You know,
one.
Kevin, I didn't even remember I got the second place. Whenever I think of Home Story Cup 20, the last thing that comes to mind is that I played a tournament.
I mean, I agree. I was like, okay, I know that you won in the upper bracket, and then Serral came from the lower bracket and won 2 best of 3s in a row. And I do remember that you guys had great games, and I think Ino played some great games. But if I think of Home Cup 20, I just think of basically the StarCraft 2 family coming together. Clem, if you think of Home Cup 20, do you even remember who you lost to?
I don't even remember honestly. I just remember my group stage matches, but that's it. I don't even remember my playoff matches. It was a really fun event. I really enjoyed it.
It was. It was.
Oh, Yona. Yona, I also know that like a lot of these other guys that are part of the big Discord groups or big Skype conversations, you don't really participate in that kind of stuff, do you?
Not really too much now. Like I said, well, yeah. I mean, I'm in some of the chats, but I never have messaged anything in those ones. But
Do you feel
yeah.
like it's distracting, or is it just not your cup of tea? Like, what makes you decide not to be part of that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's distracting or anything, but just I'm not sure. I'm talking about like strategy talks or just in general, like very casual chats, to like very casual chat groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you love the other guys. They do talk, right? Like the Zergis or just the pro gamers overall. They have a group where they play Dota and stuff with each other, but you don't really join that
Guys,
kind of stuff.
I mean, it's probably not invited. Come on, let's be serious. It's a very VIP kind of group, and yeah, we just
I mean,
don't
myself
want
some of the groups, but
we
no,
just
yeah,
don't
I
want
mean,
any normal guy over there. We just want the greatest of guys, you know.
yeah, maybe I'm not invited. Maybe
I'm kidding,
also
you know.
the games aren't really my taste that they're playing there too much, and also in general, just I mean, I never really been big in chat groups or anything. I don't really bring too much to them, in all honesty.
Hey, that does make me curious. If you have to name two favorite games besides StarCraft 2. Clem, I know that you're a pretty all-around video gamer. I know you're playing games with Coco all the time. What are your two favorite games besides SC2?
Mm, I actually played a lot of Among Us with the French, like the French people, some time ago. And nowadays I'm just playing a bit of CS:GO, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I'm also playing a bit of chess, but that's just like my game when I'm just alone trying to play some solo game.
I feel like only one of those three is like an actual game. Like Among Us is more like just to me that's just socializing, right? Like I know there's a bit of a game, but it's not really a game. And then chess is chess. That's not.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I play a bit of CS:GO sometimes, but yeah, I feel like these days I'm not playing like that many different games other than IC2. Just a
Okay.
couple of them, but
Easy spending time with Coco, you know. No free time left.
yeah.
There's no
Reynor,
denying over here, Clem.
Reynor, what do you play?
Well, I've like golfing simulator and fishing simulator a lot. Those are the two. No, I'm kidding. What do I play? I'm very, I get bored of games very often, and yeah, I've been playing Zelda right now, Breath of the Wild, because I bought a Switch, and yeah, sometimes League of Legends, but that game makes me tilt to the skies, so I try to not play that anymore.
I know I
But
need
yeah.
to ask for the people who care. What rank are you in League?
Well, right now I'm plat 3, I think, but I almost got to diamond at some point. But yeah, I stopped because I was very afraid of smashing my keyboard or my monitor, so that would not be a good investment.
You ever play Sona? That's the only hero I know.
No, Kevin, that support is not really my kind of cup of tea, you know.
Okay. Hard carry every game.
Yeah, obviously.
Yona, do you play a couple games?
Mm, Well, I
Err.
I would say that if I would have to call my favorite game series, it would probably be Halo, but I'm not really playing that too much right now. What I'm playing now is well, right now I'm playing like Escape from Tarkov, realistically, but not too much. To be honest, I'm not. I have many things I get to right now, but obviously I played like PUBG in past like 5 years ago, a couple years ago. I played it quite a lot, and now I've been playing Escape from Tarkov for a couple of years that I didn't play PUBG for. But to be honest, I'm main playing StarCraft 2 right now, especially since I'm out of my break.
How about you download League of Legends, I mean, do a queue together. Wouldn't it be quite something?
Well, I tried the Dota already and it wasn't really my cup of tea.
Unbelievable.
All right, I've got a couple Mimi questions. So obviously, Yona, I know that you always support Mixu. Whenever he plays, you show up in chats and you cheer him on. And I'm sure that you talk a little bit with him too. But then Reynor visited me, and he too has Mixu in the DMs, and Mixu is sending him replays. Why does Mixu get all this love from you too, and how did he get these hookups?
Mix is messaging more than my girlfriend. I can't. Every time I look at Discord, there's a couple of Mixu replays in DMs, and it gets upset when I don't look at them. So I kind of have to look at them to not upset the kid. But I think he has potential. Kind of lacking the brain side a bit, but I think he has the ends for it.
I think that's pretty accurate.
So who, so who does he belong to? Does he belong to Reynor or does he belong to Serral?
I mean, he's I'm
Doesn't
not
belong
sure
to
honestly.
mine.
I think he can belong to Yona because he's Finnish. I'll give him that one.
Well, depends what that means, belonging to someone, but I don't really have any what do you call them? The people you teach.
Student?
Yeah, I don't have any students. It's just little tips there and here, and one thing my Finnish fellow man, a little success.
Clem, do you have anyone that you help off? Help?
I don't really think so actually. There's a couple guys that sometimes I watch like their replay if they want to and stuff, but there's not like anybody in particular I think that I have more than I'm not sure. There's nobody like Mixu for Reynor and Serral.
Alrighty. One more then for Reynor and Yona. Who does SlowlyFalling cheer harder for?
Well, it's clearly Serral. Come on, it's obviously Yona. Like there's no doubt, no doubt in my mind. Like I've seen proof. I've seen the tweets. You know what she does? She wishes good luck to Yona on Twitter, and you know what she does to me? She wishes good luck in my Discord. How is that fair? Come
Well,
on, that's
my
proof if I've
Discord.
ever seen it.
Well, my Discord's it's not very active, so you have to do it on Twitter if you want to, I guess.
Actually, unbelievable.
But I do think it's Reynor for sure.
No, it's definitely Yona. Come on, it's definitely Yona.
All right, I love it, guys. Maybe quickly, Clem, what's your favorite channel to watch when we don't talk about tournaments? So don't say O Gaming or don't say ESL at C2 DreamHack. What's your favorite stream to watch?
Coconut Games.
Oh, I pretty much watch everyone. Like when I'm not playing, I'm just on Twitch always. So like it can be the pros, it can be There's just like many people. I watch pretty much everyone.
Right now.
Well, there's this dickhead on Twitch. He's kind of fun, but he's a bit stubborn on his playstyle. Like I like watching his streams, and yeah, his name is RotterdaM08. But yeah, fun guy overall.
The last time I talked in RotterdaM chat, he roasted me. So now I'm
Never showing up there again.
What's the story?
I think it was like during the U-Terminal game. And then you like showed my message history to like everyone. that was
okay. Your chat history, my channel. Come on, it can't have been that bad.
Snitch, Kevin, it's snitching
that
over
was fine.
everyone.
Yona, who do you like to watch?
Well, the most channel points on Lambo stream for sure. So I guess I'll watch him the most. Well, I'm mainly memeing there. I'm not necessarily watching too much. I'm just chatting something dumb.
That's almost like the jab at Lambo. Poor Lambo. He's like, the gameplay is questionable, but the chat, pretty good experience.
Yeah.
All right. I have one more question. I don't exactly know where I wanted to go with this, but If you guys listen to a tournament or just take a look at the scene overall, and you see that we have plenty of casters, right? There's casters in Korea, casters in the foreign scene. What do you like to see from casters? What do you appreciate? Or what is stuff that you'd like to see a little bit more that you feel like you don't see enough of? I'll let you go first, Reynor.
You know, I've the thing I hate the most, I think, is casters thinking they can criticize players play. Like sometimes it's obvious you're moving into 50 tanks, it's not a good play, but if once you're questioning, they're probably silver. Like there's some casters, I'm not talking about the big guys, but there's some casters that are probably silver, and they're gonna start cheating on you. Most of, like, it happened before that I watched some VOD and I got cheated on by a couple of casters, and yeah, that kind of thing is it's just you can't do that kind of thing, honestly. Like if a pro gamer is doing something, there's probably a good reason behind it. So yeah, that's the thing I hate the most.
Do you have an issue with like them criticizing the play, or just saying that it's straight up bad, or the way that they say it?
They're
Because
not
obviously,
criticizing it. Obviously, if you give a reason behind saying it's bad, I obviously, like, I am not here to being told I'm perfect, but yeah, once you just saying this straight up shit or this just straight up bad, and you go give no reason behind it, like that kind of thing annoys me a lot.
Mm. Yeah, there's also ways of saying it, like you, and sometimes yeah, there's like there's also some casters that sometimes they're gonna like focus on the criticizing part and not always like comment on the player playing well and stuff. So yeah, I agree with Rainer
so
there.
you like to see more positivity. Is that what you guys like to
Mm-hmm.
see?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Like you need to understand that if a pro gamer is doing something, there's a reason behind it, and we're not dumb. Like we've been playing this game for a lot of years, and we have a lot of practice into this game. So you can't just say to a thousand viewers, "This is straight up shit." And if you, especially if you have no clue what you're talking about. So yeah, that's one of the things that should get worked on.
What do you
I
say,
mean,
Yoma?
I personally haven't had really that kind of experiences of something that quite that harsh. But yeah, to be honest, like I don't really I have nothing against the stuff the casters say too much. The only thing that's a little bit annoying to me sometimes is when people maybe analyze a bit too much. It's kind of bad. Just a lot of a bit iffy calls, in my opinion. But I guess as a caster, you kind of have to also talk a lot and go through this kind of stuff and be confident with it. So I just kind of I'm fine with most of the stuff that's happening there for sure. I don't really criticize too much of the casting stuff.
Is there something you'd like to see more of? Maybe not just casters, but like community figures overall. Something you feel that people that have a prominent role in StarCraft 2 can do better? So I'm not talking about like in-game casting, not talking about hype or analysis or anything, but just I don't know, general attitude, like creative tournaments or anything. Do you ever spend time thinking about this, Rainer?
Well, yeah, just in general attitude, I think it's very important. Like once you're being a public figure and you have 3K, 4K viewers, you can't really just go there and be negative and not hype the thing you're showing. So I just think if you're not feeling it, it's better off to just straight up not do it. And that's one of the issues I see the most. Like it happens to everyone being on a bad day or something, but I think you can't really cast a tournament because casters are, I think, the most important thing, especially for new viewers. Like, let's say a new viewer shows up and he tunes into a stream, and the stream is just being overall negative, just very bad attitude. That's obviously not good, and it's gonna push the new viewer away. Even if they're showing a good game, like they don't really care, especially if they're new guys. They just want to see good casting and stuff. So yeah, I think casters are very important, and I would like to see, just in general, a very good attitude and just positivity.
Yeah,
Anything that you can think of?
I agree with Rainer there. But I also think that like the vast majority of the casters are already doing like really really well and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they're
obviously,
already
yeah. I'm
great.
not.
So actually, like yeah, I agree what you said, but also like they're already like doing so
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
And,
obviously, like we're doing very good already. But it's if I had to pick something to work on, this would be
Yeah.
something. You know, they're obviously very good already. Most of the casters.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
You pretty happy overall as well, Yona?
Yeah, I would say so. I think StarCraft 2 in general is, I think everyone's pretty positive in the scene, and I don't think there's anything specific to work on for anyone, in my opinion. It's just kind of fun and enjoyable scene and environment, in my opinion.
All right. Then I've got a question for you guys about tournament organizers. Is there something that you feel only some tournaments do? Like obviously offline, online, it's a bit tricky right now, especially in these COVID times. So I guess we can kick things off with offline. What would you like to see a little more often being done by online tournament organizers? Something that can be improved upon, or something that's currently happening that you really don't enjoy? Could be interviews, Jonah, if it has to be interview. Less interviews, maybe.
I mean, I don't think there's too much you can do, just because when it comes to like doing different kind of formats, I don't think those are necessary. Always the greatest option for the organizer, just because these kind of regular systems tend to sell the best, I think, at least. And yeah, I'm not sure. I personally don't really mind any of the current anything about the current tournament organizing side of things.
Reynor?
Well, I mean, I don't really have not anything to criticize because I think tournament organizers are, especially offline, they're doing a fantastic job, and offline events are always so much fun, especially because they're always well organized. But if there's something I would like to see, you know what I would like to see? Some more kind of UFC style press conferences. That would be my kind of jam, you know? That would be so much fun, honestly. Like just some friendly banter between players. Yeah, I think we need that a bit more in the scene. Like, yeah, just some friendly banter, nothing too special. Like, yeah.
Actually, a pretty good idea. Like you have a little talk show, like a 30 minutes, one host, four guys online, the top four finishes of the previous season,
Yeah.
talking a bit of smack. That's kind of stuff you want to see.
Yeah, exactly. Even offline would be a lot of fun, honestly.
Well, Sargat's smack isn't very tasty though, is it? Most of the times.
Well, we gotta work on it, man.
That is the only way to make it work for sure. Would have it. I think, well, if ESL would like give us trash talk coaches or something, it could be a good idea then.
I mean, it doesn't have to be mean. It can be respectful, but
Yeah,
still
obviously. Like,
confident.
you don't have to talk shit about the opponent. It's just, as I said, it's always gonna be friendly banter because most of the people from outside don't realize, even if I'm like making fun of Clem or making fun of Yona, it's always friendly banter because we're all friends and we just respect each other so much that we can't really talk shit to each other. So even if I'm, let's say, calling Clem an ape, it's just friendly banter because we do that all the time. Even if we're not showing it on streams, we just do it all the time and I think there's nothing wrong with it. We just spice things up a bit, and I find it fun, honestly.
I think a lot of viewers find it fun too. Clem, anything else you can think of, or would you like that idea?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's fun, but I think that's also what they're trying to do in GSR, right? Because there's also like this, there's often these interviews and like even for the group selections, like they're all together talking to each other and stuff. I feel like that's also where they're trying to go. And I also maybe something about because you talked about tournament organizing and the online tournaments. Maybe the only thing that sometimes annoys me a little bit, but it's not even a big thing. It's just like and it's specific to the online tournaments. But like sometimes when I'm playing a weekly ESL Cup and it's like the semifinals or the grand finals and the lobby is like full of casters and it's taking years to start. It's like can we just start please? Sometimes it can be a little long, but yeah. Other than that, like there's not much to say. Everything's fine.
Yeah, I know, and it doesn't seem like it's rocket science to fix that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure
Especially
you
if it
noticed
happens
too.
5 weeks in a row. I'm like, guys, I think there is an issue here. Maybe we can address the issue and improve it. I agree with
Yeah.
that. Is there anything, let's say, hopefully, fingers crossed, guys, towards the end of the year, November, December? I mean, we're going to have to get lucky, but we have a fun offline event. What is one thing that you would really like to see that you feel doesn't get done often or doesn't get done at all?
Well, that's a good question, honestly. I think, as I said before, offline tournament organizers are always on point. So there's nothing really too big that comes to mind.
What would make life better, Rainer? A bigger hotel room, a jacuzzi.
A
You would...
jacuzzi would be nice, We're never throwing away a jacuzzi in the room. Cheeky jacuzzi before playing against my opponent in the finals. That would not be bad. That's a good idea, actually, Kevin.
Clem, is there anything that you'd like to see that doesn't get done too often when it comes to offline events?
I'm not too sure honestly. There's not really anything that comes to my mind. And also it's been so long that I went to an offline event that I don't really even
Yeah, exactly. We
remember
don't
sometimes.
remember the
Like,
feeling
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, exactly. But no, I'm not too sure. Nothing particular.
Yona, what about organizing an offline event once at a golf course?
Mm, It's quite complicated, quite complicating, I think. But are you asking me to do that, or if anyone, if someone else would do that?
Yeah, it'd be fun, no? Like, I'm sure there's a little building somewhere. We play inside, and we're done, and you can play some goals afterwards. Like, maybe like more fun locations to host tournaments, if that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, like we already mentioned the water park, and I wasn't really as phased.
Yeah,
I wasn't
okay.
as phased as you guys, so I'm not really sure if that's exactly what I'm thinking here.
Well, my
But
dream would be to have one more of those kind of tournaments of Home Story Cup 20. That kind of tournament is just sick, man. I wish we would do it more.
I think there is a chance that maybe we'll have something similar again in the future.
Yeah, I
Obviously,
know
can't.
it's not easy, but
Yeah,
yeah, it would be a lot of fun, honestly.
I mean, 25 is a beautiful number, Dennis. If you're listening, like Homesick got 2025. I'm sure we can come up with something.
30.
All right, I have two more quick questions for you guys before we head into the Patreon Q&A because I don't want to keep you guys here forever. Reynor, what is your idea of the oversaturation of online tournaments that I feel sometimes takes place, or do you feel like there is no such thing as oversaturation?
I mean, there's clearly oversaturation, not online tournaments. I think, yeah, well, it's not easy to balance because I know like online tournaments are fun to watch, but what I don't like about online tournaments most of the time is that you have to go through 25 group stages and 25 playoff matches before. Yeah, it's just I think like organizers kind of push it most of the time with online tournaments because I understand they want to get the most out of the tournament in itself, but kind of find it annoying to push like three group stages and lower bracket and upper bracket with 50 people. Like, yeah, that's just the thing that annoys me a bit.
Clem.
Yeah, I can see where you're point. But also like for me, it doesn't like most of my practice is playing online tournaments these days, like the weekly cups and the worldly cups and stuff like that. That's just most of my practice. I don't play like that much custom games. I played quite a bit of ladder recently, but usually I don't play that much either. It's just most of my practice to play online tournaments, the weekly ones and stuff. So it doesn't bother me too much to have like some games to play because that's just how my practice goes.
Yona, I know that you don't play in like too many small tournaments or the super drawn out tournaments where you have to play 20 games to win 200 bucks. I know that's not really your thing, but if you look at it from a fan point of view, if you see Reynor and Clem duke it out with each other literally 8 times in 3 weeks or something, does that like take away a bit of the magic for you, or do you always find it interesting as a StarCraft fan?
Mm, Well, good matches are always interesting. Obviously, if two rivalries play a lot against each other, that might take something away from it. But I mean, I don't think that happens too often. That specific match, still. But yeah, I don't think there's too much oversaturation when it comes to tournaments. At least in my case, obviously, because I mean, you can decline out some tournaments. You don't have to play in everything. Like the most important events obviously are the ones with ESL open points, and I think there's too many of those. And obviously, if you want to play more tournaments than those, then that's your own decision.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the amount of tournaments we have is pretty good, at least in my opinion. It's not too much, and I do think sometimes there are times when there might be too many tournaments in a short period of time, or it's really hard to find a spot for a longer break. But other than that, I think it's pretty nice.
You know, Reynor and Clem, you guys had that little period. I think it was between maybe, let's say, April and June or something, where I felt you guys played against each other all the time. And even though, like, you know, I obviously love seeing you guys duke it out, at one point I'm like, oh my God, another best of seven between Reynor and Clem. Like, how does that feel for you guys? Like, I know that you guys want to beat each other and there is that friendly rivalry, but it's got to start getting a little bit exhausting just at one point to play each other over and over and over again in such a short period of span, no?
Yeah, like for me as a player, I don't mind it too much. But I can also understand that as like a viewer perspective, it can be like um not that hype anymore, you know, to see like always the same matches over and over, the same rivalry over and over, and to not like keep it for the biggest tournaments and stuff. I can understand it as a viewer point of view, but as a player, I don't really mind it too much.
Rainer?
Well, uh, I yeah, I think at some point it just gets too often, you know, like obviously they're good games and it's always fun to play against the kid, but yeah, if you keep seeing it in the weeklies, then it's gonna be worse if you actually see it in a proper final. So yeah, obviously it's a lot different than playing in the weeklies or playing in a DreamHack or just in general in bigger tournaments. So yeah, I think at some point it just gets bit too much. Even though it's
Mm.
always fun to play good games and it's always high quality games whenever I play versus Clem. So yeah, it's just good practice overall. But yeah, at some point it gets a bit too often.
It is safe to say that it takes some of the magic away, though, right? Like if you guys,
Yeah,
let's say,
that's
play in
what I
the
mean.
upper bracket final of the DreamHack Masters fall, obviously Yona could be you too, but let's say that would be the match. I feel like it's kind of lame if I already saw you guys play on the Monday night and the Sunday in a different tournament as well. Then it's like the third time this week. It's kind of hard to really build up the big Rainer Clem. Sure, it's for all the marbles, it's the big one, but I really feel like it does take some of the magic away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like there was this thing when I was playing a lot versus Yona and like at the beginning. But yeah, you wouldn't see it every week. So whenever you got to the final against each other, it was always this big, massive hype. And yeah, it's I think it's a bit different with Clem because people think it's good games and it's always gonna be good games, but it's not the same level of hype because I think we just play against each other too often. Right now, I'm just yeah, we're playing less. So yeah, maybe we can fix that. But yeah, I think that you were right. Like you're right. Just take some magic away.
mm, yeah, that's true. Yeah. But also, I don't think we played even like one match since the Dreamhack, or maybe like one off ratio match or something.
Yeah, we
Um,
played that off race.
yeah, but it was like off race. But other than that, I feel like recently we didn't play that much actually.
No,
But yeah,
no, no.
I can also see like it takes some of the magic away from the bigger tournaments.
No, recently it's fine, but there was this one period where I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my God, like,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
know it's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
happen as well in the big DreamHack one. Like I want to be fired up now. I feel if you guys would meet in the playoffs, and it obviously goes for Yona too. After Yona took his little break, like I'm really excited again to see another Serral versus Reynor. But if it happens 6 times in 2 weeks, then I feel like all right, like what are we gonna see this time? I think sometimes it's good to take like a little step back and not see, even though it's awesome StarCraft. I want to look forward to it. You know, I don't want to have it in my face every single day. I think that's important. All right, one last thing for me before we head into the Patreon Q&A. Rainer, I feel like I know what you're gonna say, but um, yeah, surprise me anyway. What is your favorite SC2 event of all time? And it can be a mix between fun, but also your own personal success.
Well, you know what I'm gonna say, and it's obviously like the funnest event, the most fun I had at an event was obviously Home Story Cup 20. But the most magic I felt was at BlizzCon. The first BlizzCon I played, and God, that was amazing. So amazing. Just when I got into the arena, and there were a shit ton of people cheering for me, and yeah, it was just a different kind of feeling, you know.
Lam?
The most fun was the Home Story Cup 20. I also say that like when there was still the big DreamHacks offline and stuff, I just wasn't like that good, so I was not like winning that much on stage and stuff. I was making it to the big stage in round of 16 most of the times, but I wasn't like having some big wins and stuff. So yeah, it wasn't like that
Memorable.
like it was cool playing on stage, but also like I didn't get any like massive wins or anything. So yeah, but there was like so many cool tournaments and fun tournaments. But maybe the Home Story Cup 20 is the most fun one.
What's it for you, Yona? I have the feeling it's not Home Story Cup 20.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sad to disappoint you, but indeed, it is the BlizzCon, I would say, just because that was the best experience for me, and yeah, just winning there felt really good. So that's the most fun and the best experience of my career. I think also Katowice's always on the Spodek arena have been really sick, but since I haven't actually won ever there, so I can't really say that has been the best experience for me. But if I if I would have won there, that would have also been really high up. But for now, it's just easily BlizzCon, the one I won.
I had a question written down earlier, but I'm not going to ask it because I know that all three of you guys are going to say if you win it. I want to say the year is 2023, March, 3 years of the ESL Pro Tour is done. Are you happy if you haven't won IEM Katowice offline? But I think all of you guys will say no.
Yeah,
I need
come
to
on,
win
you
it.
know the answer.
Yeah, so a silly question. All right, let's get ready for the Patreon Q&A. Cobra, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
How are you doing today, mate?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Did
We
we
got
get
some
some fun
shout outs
questions?
to make. We got 3 people we need to give some special credit to over here.
The floor is yours, mate.
We have Maker Shane, Jerry Wang, and Codiferous87 who give us $100 each month, which is pretty big.
That's bug.
It is. Very much so. And I'll show the list of everybody else in a moment. But let's pull up some Patreon Q&A.
Of course,
Here
big
we
shout
go.
out to everyone that is supporting the Pylon Show on Patreon. If you do like the Pylon Show and you want to support all the work that Cobra, Alessandro, and the other people do, then there is a Patreon badge under my stream. You can click on it, and that's where you can decide to show some support if you want to. Or you can just head over to ThePylonShow.com, and I'm pretty sure that it shouldn't be rocket science to find a link to the Patreon on that website either. Let's do it then, Cobra. Who's got the first question?
Foot4264.
If you were in charge of picking the location for the first global LAN event after the pandemic ends, where would you choose and why? Yona.
It should be in Finland. So
In the winter or in the summer?
in the summer, I think, yeah, Finnish summer is pretty nice. I think people would like it for sure. Yeah, we haven't had too many events here. We had one Asus. Obviously, we had a lot of stuff before, but lately just the one Asus event there. So getting a big global event there is extremely unlikely, but that would be nice.
Clem.
Well, like back in the days, there was the DreamHack Tour that I was qualified for that I couldn't play because of my age. In a tour in France. And I was kind of disappointed to not play like the big tournament in France. So maybe in France would be super cool. Yeah.
But please not in tour. Come on, man.
No.
Like you can
No,
go
maybe
for
not.
Monaco or like I don't know one of these other
Yeah.
beautiful cities like Cannes where they have the film festival.
Yeah, for sure. But
Let's not go
that's where
to
I
tour,
mean.
Clem. Come on.
No, but like having one in France would be super cool. Yeah, maybe not in.
Okay, Reynor.
What do you think I'm gonna answer, Kevin? Let's see if you know me.
Miami or Las Vegas?
Well, that's a very good guess, but first choice would be Korea,
Okay.
and second one would be Las Vegas, I think.
Okay. You know, we had IPL4 there once. It was actually pretty dope. It
Yeah?
was like Korean. Was like a global tournament, and they also had the GSL playoffs there. Was in the Cosmopolitan. That was kind of a brand new hotel back then.
That's bug.
Yeah, pretty cool experience. Alrighty, moving on to our next question. Thank you very much, of course, Food4264 for supporting the Pylon Show. We can't do it without your support, guys. So please, if you can, consider it. Nachtcup. Poof, a wizard has turned you and your best friend into StarCraft things. Stuff that complements well, not at all or weirdly. Like 2 Banelings, a Viper and an Infestor, Tank Evac, SCV. What is SCV and Tempest? How do they complement each other? 2 Phoenixes versus Marauders, an Ultra Defiler. Okay, I don't know what's happening. No 2 High Templars though. What's the question? Reynor, help me out. What is the question?
I think this mad lad wants to know which unit me and my best friend would turn into, maybe.
Alright. What's the answer to that question?
Well, obviously a prism and any other unit. Broken
I like that. Clem?
Um. Mm, well, maybe like a marine and a marauder.
A little tag team action. Yona, I'm sorry, mate, that I'm doing this to you, but
I'm in shambles, man. Why are you asking him this question?
What was the question?
Yeah, we're trying to
Are you
figure
talking
it
about the
out.
same question still?
Yeah, the same question.
Well, I got confused because I again got disconnected for a moment, and then you made it sound like there was a new question already.
Well, we
But-
didn't really know the question. Basically, you and Zhugliang, you turn into StarCraft units that complement each other. What would you guys be?
I think we'd be Infestor and a Viper.
Okay. What are you?
Well, I'm obviously the Infestor.
Okay, moving on. Thank you.
The guy with more impact.
Alrighty, moving on. Thank you, Knock for that story. Sort of a question. Cody Furious, one of our biggest supporters over at the Patreon. Thank you so much, Manny, for the $100 a month you send us. I actually heard just now, by the way, from Cobra that Reynor is also pledging $100 per month. Just want to say that's really cool, Reynor. I really appreciate it.
Kevin, that's the least I can do for breaking your mug, and yeah.
At least you got me the new one that I still use very frequently. So
Well, yeah, it's a perfect one for you. Fits you very well. Not sure what it is, but I think it describes you very well, Kevin.
Oh, of course. So Cody Furious is saying, tournament wins results aside, what are some of your favorite moments with the folks from the StarCraft community? And what are some of the favorite memories you have with other guests today? Love hearing about the interactions and shenanigans. I'm so glad that I didn't ask that because I actually wrote it down too, but I was like, I have the feeling someone is going to ask that. So, Yona, do you want to take this one first? So not focusing on the results. Some of the favorite moments you have created over the years, traveling to events and hanging out with your StarCraft buddies.
Favorite moments. I have a lot of moments I didn't enjoy so much. Like when I got told to drink a shot in home story cup or something like that. But I mean, just in general, hanging around with people has been quite enjoyable. I don't really have any specific massive memories, but I guess I did have my first drinks there, so that's something.
Who made you take a shot?
Give me a guess.
Reynor?
No, he wouldn't be able to make me take a shot, but Lambo.
What is this?
Wait, what? So who was it?
Lambo did.
Oh,
Obviously.
Lambo.
Who
Okay,
else
okay.
would?
Well,
I
I
think
I sort of got you to take a shot in Korea after you won GS off as the
Did you? But I didn't take the shot, did I?
No, you did. You took half. You took half, and I took half.
I can't remember that anymore.
I remember it very well. We all went to that bar in like the Western District.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
chicken wings.
Yes,
that one?
with chicken. Yeah, well, you were the only one who was there to eat. Everybody was there to drink, and you're like, I'm very hungry, and then you went to get some food
It's
with your
in
brother.
hungry. I was
Yeah.
just playing. For the whole day. You need to eat.
I know, but then I was like, let's do one shot, and then you're like, I'll take half, and then you took half, and then I took half, and I was like, and you're like, not very good.
I
I
don't think,
remember.
I must say, alcohol didn't impress me with its taste. But apparently, that's not the good. That's not why you drink alcohol, anyways. It's kind of like coffee in a way. You don't drink coffee because it's good. It's just kind of an habit.
I think we can work on that. You know, one day we'll go to a beach and we'll have a sangria. I think think I'll get you around, Serral. It's not too bad. Reynor, what are some of the favorite memories you've created with your StarCraft friends and also the people on this call?
Come on, Kevin, you can't do me like this. Most of the stories, I don't think I can actually share.
I have to
But
actually
not that
censor half of
bad.
those.
Come on.
Actually, I've been there.
uh, let me think about it. Actually, one of the best stories was when I traveled with Yon. It was just me and him against the Koreans to BlizzCon, and I think we had a lot of fun there. It was just a very good experience overall, and I'm not sure if I can share the other ones, but yeah, that was one of the most fun times I had.
Clem, what are some of your favorite moments?
I remember like when I started playing StarCraft 2 and going to my first lands in France. That was not very far from my house. Seeing all the French players at the time was super cool. That was also like my first few lands, so that's always like yeah, that was like super cool. And then I had a lot of fun going with my family. I went with my dad and my sister to some DreamHack Valencia just to watch like as a fan. Um, and then of course like the home story cup with you guys was super fun.
Yeah, your dad actually used to come very often to the event. I remember in Kiev he was there and a couple of others. Your dad has always been very supportive, right? That's gotta feel good to know that your dad is watching your
Yeah,
games
yeah.
and cheering you on.
Yeah, it's really nice. He likes to come to events when he can, but also sometimes he has work, so he can't always. But yeah, he likes to go when he can.
And your dad likes to have a cheeky beer with the rest of the crew too.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. It was really fun. All right. Nothing else, Reynor? No other funny stories? Yeah,
Okay,
nothing.
okay,
I've known you for 5 years. You have
okay,
nothing
okay.
nice to say
You
about
know,
me, dickhead.
no, fuck, no, you're still a dickhead. One of the funniest stories I've heard. It is
Yeah.
not my personal story, but because I had to go sleep. It was Home Story Cup 20.
Yeah.
One of the funniest stories ever was when Gabe got fucking wasted at the Home Story Cup 20 and he lost his glasses. Harstem actually told me this story and sort of as well. I was dying when they told me these stories because they went all over the venue, the tropical islands, searching for Gabe's glasses. And at the end, it turns out that Gabe gave his glasses to like his roommate or something. That was one of the funniest stories. I think Harstem should tell you this one. But no, when I heard it, I was dying, man. I was actually dying.
Yeah, Gabe made an appearance.
You also lost your glasses in the pool, right? Or if I'm not mistaken, if I remember
What?
correctly. I think you lost your glasses in the pool, and we were like all looking at
Yeah, but
the bottom
that's
of the pool.
different. I was not wasted there. I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
swimming
Well,
with my glasses. That was a
yeah.
rookie mistake. You know, I lost my glasses in the sea a couple of times as well.
Right? Were you there when Mr. Bitter got a bit out of line late at night?
Which night?
I don't know. One of the nights where he went into the pool with things that he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. I think I was.
Mr. Bitter had the time of his life at Home Story Cup 20. We'll keep it at that. We're in an indoor
Yeah,
arena, but
exactly. I'm not sure what I can share, so
it
I
was
just
good
leave
though.
it at that. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Thank you so much, Code Furious. I enjoyed listening to some of that. Next up, I know that he was gonna throw. He already won those days in advance. Good old Fear Dragon, absolute passion lord of this community. Sorry, I mean questions from M. Canning. So, Rainer Clem, what is the dumbest thing one of the other guests have done to you in either a game with StarCraft or out of it? Roddy, pick cheese, macro, or BM for each of your guests if you encounter them on the ladder. All right, I'll let you guys answer first. Clem, why don't you go first? What is the dumbest thing that any of the other guests have done on the ladder?
Um, on the ladder.
Or out of it. Yeah, or in a game of StarCraft or out of it.
I'm not entirely sure, but I'm thinking maybe Reynor likes to snipe me with his Protoss when I'm streaming sometimes. So maybe that. But that's okay. I also snipe him sometimes when he's streaming or face and stuff. That's not that bad.
Rainer, what's the dumbest thing that any of these guys have done against you in StarCraft or out of it?
Honestly, I would like to tell. Well, I'm thinking about. I remember Clem doing something very fucking dumb when we were at an event, but I actually can't remember what. So yeah, that's kind of sad. I wish I would remember that, but yeah, maybe in game it's very hard to pick with Clem because I feel like he's aping most of his games. So I'm not sure, honestly. There's a lot of random alien round buys that just throw him in front of tank queens that are not supposed to work, and sometimes they do. But yeah.
Talking about aping around, I know someone who likes to ape around a lot as well.
Who?
Give me a guess.
I'm not sure. Maybe RotterdaM 08.
Well, he does play a bit strange as well, but I was more leaning towards you in this case, and
I think I
probably
know your answer, Yona, actually.
well, I mean, I have a million answers. Your dumbest link floods, stuff
Yeah.
that's never supposed to work. In
You know,
some
the
dream.
first thing that comes to mind that I did the dumbest thing ever. Maybe it was actually either Winter Game 7 with the +1 invented
Yep,
on the
on the
spot.
map with
Yeah,
minerals. That
yeah,
was absolutely awful build.
that was quite something. And the second one that comes to mind was Thunderbird when I made 30 lurkers and absolutely I moved the shit out of you. That was actually quite something as well. And maybe the third thing that comes to mind was more recently in a next qualifier where I link
I
flooded
remember.
you and you held it
Yep,
on Beckett. But I just
I
kept
did.
making links and you accidentally moved out and I destroyed you.
Yeah, well, in general, those are probably the ones that came to my mind as well. The ones that are the most annoying, but I have to admit that it is fairly common for me to absolutely destroy my opponent and then get lurker A mood. So that is very common.
Love the answers. Actually, like over the years, I've had pretty memorable games with all three of you. Like the ones against Clem, not so much. But I remember Clem when you were not as good as you are currently. I did take a map of you once in a little best of three that we played. I remember that one. Reynor, our game on Triton, I will never forget because that was mine, and you know it. Like you know that that was mine. And then I also played him when he was playing on the Pizza Boy or something. Like I'm like I have super quick +3, and I was like I don't know who this 6.1k Zerk is, but I guess he's playing well. But he's not gonna kill me with these silly Ling Bane run bys. And then eventually I'm like, damn, I think I'm losing now. And then it turned out it was Rain, and I was super pissed because I actually thought that I was winning that game too on World of Sleepers. And Yona, I will never forget our game on Paladino Terminal, where you link flood me with a Dropaloid, and I thought it was over, but you just kept on going. That one hurts still to the day of today.
From my perspective, I think.
Sorry, can you say that again? Because sometimes it's the first second that your mic doesn't work, and then it works. Can you
Yeah,
say
it's
that?
By the way, for everybody else, sorry, Serral. Serral has the patience of a saint. Every time this happens, I have to drag him out, remove him so that it reconnects. This is not Serral's fault. This is a bandwidth issue. Have patience. Thanks. Go ahead.
All right, go one more time.
But yeah, my point was that game that you were talking about, I felt like from my perspective, I was always in control.
No, you were not. Oh, I wish I could find the replay, mate. Oh, no, that is a lie. All right, and then I believe I had to choose between BM, cheese, and macro. Is that correct? Roddy, pick cheese, macro, or BM for each of you guys if you encounter them on the ladder. Well, BM, obviously, I'm going to BM Reynor because he deserves it the most by far. And that goes without saying. I feel like PVZ cheese is kind of lame, so I think I would honestly macro against Yona. I know that's not going to go well, but yeah, scouting is too good. And the cheeses are going to be lame, so I'm not going to do that. So I guess we'll cheese Clem. I've seen him struggle with the void rays of max pack, so maybe we can get lucky in that regard. That's my answer. Sorry, Clem.
Um. Well, it was I would say for Roti, I would probably just macro, because I know he likes phoenixes, but phoenixes are annoying, except when you have many ghosts and Vikings. Maybe for Reynor, I would BM because he deserves it. And for Serral, I would choose probably because I don't know. I've been macroing a lot against him, and maybe one cheese in a while could be cool.
The classic Helba timing You always have a L-bot timing against Yona at least once in a series. I'm not sure
Yeah,
why.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Is it really a cheese though? It's like if you do like a 360
Come on,
bad
shut up,
timing,
Clem.
it's
The
well, what
fucking
do you mean? It's like a
25
macro,
SCVs,
isn't it?
4
It's the
minutes, 7
Marauder one
L-bots.
always.
It's a classic cheese. Like you can't pretend it's a aggressive timing or some shit like that. You know those cheesers? They're like, oh, this is just a dedicated pressure. Come on, shut up. You got 3 links in your base and you lost the game.
Just a committed question.
All right, I liked it actually. I wasn't necessarily thinking that you should answer it, but Yona, if you have to choose between BM, cheese, and macro against us three,
I
who's
think I know
getting
the
what?
answers.
I mean, you want well. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. I think I would. Yeah, I would be a Reynor, macro roti, and cheese Clem is quite straightforward. I think that's just the way it would be.
All right, Reynor.
I would fucking BM the shit out of all of you guys. Like, fuck you, what is this? It can't be one-sided.
Alrighty, moving on. Thank you very much, Fair Dragon, and thank you, I'm Kenning as well for the laughs. Next up, Holly. What's your take on player rivalries? Enjoyable, necessary, annoying? Speaking of your own and others, also Roddy, Cass's perspective. When do you know when to form such a rivalry, and when is it better to not start anything uncomfortable for the players? Who joined? Okay, that's 2 questions. We'll start off with rivalries first. Reina, I feel like you're very passionate about this. Go ahead.
What?
Rivalries, are they important? Are they necessary?
Well, they're obviously important because they bring the hype. I think I had kind of a rivalry against Yona before he eventually washed up. And kidding, Yona. Yeah, I still have that kind of rivalry versus Yona. And I think it's good for the viewers, honestly, because rivalries are needed. And yeah, it's just they need to understand that we're friends, that we just banter with each other in the game, and we have nothing against each other. At least from my part, I don't know if Yona hates me and he doesn't want to tell me, but yeah, I have nothing personal against him. It's just inside the game.
Clem?
Yeah, like I think they're important for the scene and like to build up the hype. For like big matches, it's important to have like yeah, some rivalries. But also sometimes it might not be always necessary to like create some unnecessary rivalries, you know. Where like yeah, but yeah, they're obviously pretty important for the scene and to like keep things alive and interesting and hyped.
Yona, I feel like you really don't care about any of this stuff, but feel free to answer.
Not really. I mean, I do agree that from Weaver's perspective, it is useful and enjoyable for sure. But from players' perspective, I don't think you think too much about that kind of stuff. Kind of just do your own thing there always.
Well, since the question was also directed to me, I think from my point of view, I don't think you should ever force it, right? You shouldn't make up rivalries because then it becomes lame and it's like whatever. But like a random example that I can think of is that at one point when Max Pax was definitely not as good yet as he currently is, he won like 4 times in a row against Showtime. And then I think at that point, it's just like, yeah, I will start talking about it. Whether, that's maybe annoying for Showtime, even though I think Showtime is very chill. And like results are results. I don't think you should make up stuff. I don't think you should force it. But if something is evolving, I'm going to mention it because I think it's my job. And if there is an interesting storyline somewhere, yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to address it. So no need to force it, but I do think it helps. And it definitely makes me more excited if I know that someone has won like the last 4 times in a row against the other guy. Let's see if he can get one back, right? Stats are fun. I enjoy them. So
It's a bit annoying that apparently I'm supposed to have a rivalry against everyone that's my age. That's kind of the trend right now. But yeah, like a few years ago, I was supposed to be a rival of Clem and Goblin and everyone. That's just a bit forcing rivalries. But as you said, I think rivalries just they make themselves because even against Ion, it's not like one day we went, oh fuck, we're rivals now. No, it just kind of happened with the fact that we kept on playing tournaments and in the finals together.
Even though, Yona, I know that you you don't talk about it or you don't really see it like that. At one point, if that cheeky Italian kid gets you 3 times in a row, you do start thinking about it. Like, I want to get one back.
He's thinking about it. Don't trust
Yeah,
him. Man.
I mean, obviously I'm
It's in
thinking
his
about it.
mind. I'm always in his
But
mind.
even if I lose 3 times against Miksu, I would be thinking about it as well, right?
True. Alrighty, moving on. Thank you very much for that question. Next up, we have Alleluia TV. A question for Serral. How did you feel after your first big win? What was going through your mind when they called out winner Serral? Now, I guess what we can wonder about is what was your first big win? Was it Leipzig or was it in Barcelona? Because in my eyes,
WSG.
Barcelona counted. But what do you see as your first big win, Yona? And obviously, what was going through your mind?
Well, I would say it's Leipzig for me just because Barcelona was was it even an open event or there wasn't really anyone. I mean, there wasn't really too many people around. So I do think that was probably one of the bigger ones, first bigger ones, but I would say Leipzig's always the one that I consider the first major win for me. And they didn't quite call out winner Serral, but it did feel good to win something since that's what you are kind of chasing for. And the previous year, I had the second place. I was the NEEP in Jönköping, I think, and it kind of didn't really wasn't quite it for me, and I wanted to win really bad after that. So just getting the win under the belt really felt good, and I don't think there's anything special to it. It's just winning always feels really nice.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's fair enough. Let's move on then, Cobra. I mean, I feel like people always want Serral to have this super emotional, heartbreaking stories. Like, I've been working for this my entire life, but he's just not gonna give it to us, guys. So let's
Fuck, he's
forget
sitting
about it.
there.
That was
How was the win?
heartbreaking, though.
It's nice.
That
Yeah.
was heartbreaking, though. Like I lost
They
the
should
knee
know
in
at this point. Come
Jönköping.
on.
Lost the knee in Jönköping for 3 did I lose. That's heartbreaking for me.
Mm-hmm. And
And
then
then I
eventually
bounced
you won.
back.
And then you won Leipzig, and it was nice. So moving on.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Hallelujah, for the question. Paraglider, as some of the most skilled gamers in the world, how popular are you with the ladies? Do you sometimes get approached at events or contacted online by fans who are romantically interested in you? How do you feel about that? And would you ever date someone who doesn't speak your native language? You know what? I'll let Reynor go first.
Come on, Kevin. What can I say? What can I say? I'm a bit limited on this question right now because, in fact, I have a girlfriend, and I'm not sure if she's listening to this, but I won't take the risk. So, yep. That's it.
Mate, that's the worst answer you could ever give. You can just say like, "Oh yeah, they like me, but I love my girlfriend." What is this kind of an answer?
Just not taking risks, Kevin. Come on, I'm playing it safe. What the hell?
Clem, please do better.
Well, I think like StarCraft is not like the biggest game ever, right? Like we have always seen stuff, but it's not like if we were like the most famous like esport pros on Earth, you know. So I don't think it changes that much. Like being a pro or anything. Don't think it changes like that much.
Never
Don't
any
get-
DMs? No ladies interested?
I don't know. Not particularly. I think. Could happen sometimes maybe.
Okay, I
Yona?
can say something.
Okay,
Maybe
go.
it did happen that on the Reynor page, I did receive a couple of DMs, and maybe at the events you go there, maybe the ladies are a bit more interested because you're a pro gamer. But that's about it. That's about the maximum I can share. So yeah, have fun, Yona.
Well, I do agree with Clem a bit that it's not really that big of a deal that you're a professional gamer. And well, at least in StarCraft 2 it hasn't been for me. But I have had a couple DMs. I'm not sure if that's romantically interested, but I have gotten a couple DMs, but then haven't really even answered those, so nothing came out of them.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that yes, I think they were romantically interested, Yona, without reading them or without knowing anything about it. Love hearing that, though. That actually brings a smile to my face. Alrighty, thank you for the question. Moving on. Neo Steel enthusiast. Roddy, congrats on the Neo gig. Here's to all the great questions to come. I mean, I don't know if it's. A lot of people have said that. I'm like, I'm just helping, guys. Like, Artosis and Cobra asked me. I'm just stepping up. It's not really like I just got a promotion. If anything, this is just more work for me. But all right, I'll take it. For everyone, if you ever had to change yourself and everyone else into a different sentient food dish of your native country. What is up with all these weird food questions? Always with the Patreon Q&A, man. I really don't get this. What sentient food dish would you choose for everyone? If you were starving, who would eat you first? Feel free, guys, to say no if you don't want to answer this question. Clem?
It's a sentient food.
Yeah.
I really know shit.
Well, Yona?
I don't even know what sentient food means.
I barely know what it means, but last time it had something to do with turning myself into a hot dog and being able to eat myself. I don't know, man. It's very weird.
We
Neil
have a
still
long
try-
history. We have a long history of if the food was a knowledge aware of itself and it knew it was alive and it had a brain and could talk and think. That's like the sentient. I don't ask me. They started this meme and they've kept it going for like 2 years now. I don't know.
Next.
Sorry, Neil. Maybe next week people are into it, but I'm gonna move on from this one. Our very own Alexander. What is the strongest part about being a pro StarCraft player and then as a champion? Ever seen a name you wish you thought of first? What do you wish people would ask you? Reynor, whose Terran is better, yours or Baby Marine? Let's start off with that one.
Without even thinking about it, I can smash the kid with one hand and my off race. Like, he's still young, he has time to grow, but yeah, he's nowhere near my level, I think, even with Terran. Because you gotta keep him humble, you know, once he starts beating you, it's over. So you just cheeky snipe here and there and keeping him humble. That's the play, I think.
He's coming for you, mate. Team
Nah,
Roddy's
he's not.
Baby
Come
Marine
on.
is coming for you.
He's still lacking the brain side, as I said for Mixu. They're fast, they're good players, but you can't really fix your dumbness, you know. So, yeah, it's gonna be hard.
Yona, what is one question that you wish people would ask you that they never ask you?
How's the golfing going?
Well, I mean, someone has already asked me that,
Ah, shit.
but I mean, are there any? I think I get asked too many questions, honestly.
I love it. I love it, mate. Best answer. Clem.
Should I answer the first two questions more, maybe?
Yeah, but you can also answer like, what do you wish people would ask you that they don't ask you?
I'm not too sure. Honestly, I'm not too sure. Don't really have anything in mind. And about the first two questions. Ever seen a name? Do you think it means like a player name that you wish you had, or?
I'm not totally sure. Is that nickname related, Cobra?
I'm pretty sure that's nickname related, like player ID.
All right.
Yeah, like for me, I just like my nickname because it's like I have it since like such a long time, and it's also just how people call me in real life. Like people that know me well. So like I wouldn't change my nickname. I think it's nice. And then the strangest part about being a pro, I think it's maybe that sometimes you're just a bit like it's another day at the office, right? You don't like realize that there's actually some people watching you and cheering for you and stuff. It's just like you're doing your thing, your matches, and you don't really like think about the people watching and like realize that there's some people cheering for you and stuff.
Reynor, ever seen a name you thought of that you wish you had?
Not really. I'm just happy with myself.
I think we've asked enough
No
questions.
way.
What?
I really nickname. I'm thinking of. Do you think Gotral would be a good nickname? For me, I mean, obviously.
Kodra?
Gotra?
Gotral. Just I'll take Ser is replaced with Gotral.
I don't know what's going on.
I have no idea what you're
Can
trying
you
to tell us,
spell it for
Yona.
us?
Can you spell it?
Oh my god, one more question.
Oh my gosh. This is going from verse to verse. Absolute burglar.
I still don't get it. What was happening?
Is it
How about we just move forward?
Yeah,
No,
that's
no. We need
next.
to. Oh, goat troll. Is that what they
Goat
said?
troll.
Like the goat. Okay.
No, not goat.
What
That would
then?
be really no, not goatral. Cotral. Like the card.
Which
Like
car?
the car?
No, I think
The
he's saying
card.
God. God. I think.
The god?
Yeah, the cardral. Well, it wouldn't be codral. It would
Godral.
be codral. It would be codral.
Oh,
You
instead of
couldn't.
Serral, God roll.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be with the. You can't say that with the English spelling of
Okay.
card. You would have to say
All right. God roll.
codral. Yeah.
I think I,
Godral.
Be a
think I
good name.
prefer Serral.
What do you
Okay.
know, Kevin? Just let him have his name. We're
Okay, God roll it is.
Godral in the chat. Let's go, boys.
He was also doubting your answer, Reynor, like saying that you like the name Reynor.
Who was
I was.
Godral? Hey, what do you know, man? You
No.
want to be named yourself Godral. You can't really judge other people's name.
Can I not?
No, you can't. You have no power anymore.
Judging is allowed, but I can't obviously change your opinion. Well, I can change your opinion, but you can choose whatever you want.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm happy with the name Reynor. It's just I wouldn't be happy if I named myself Reynor with an A. That would kind of suck. But yeah, Reynor with an E. It's just original, man. Not as
Alrighty.
original as Godral, I must admit, but
Alrighty. Clem, anything else that you want to touch on this question? Sorry. I forgot where we were because his name changed in the graphic as well. He's now God roll.
Yeah. No, not that much to add.
Alrighty. Cool. Moving on then. What is our next question, Cobra? Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered all of it. Red Gunner Guy, again, thank you so much, mate, for still being a supporter of the Patreon. One more time, guys, it would really help us out a lot if you guys would consider pledging, even if it's $2 or $3 a month. It really does help the Pylon Show to pay their guests and obviously pay Cobra and Alexander and everything else that comes with it. And in the end, Artosis, for being one of the founders, of course, he will still get a little bit of whatever is left over at the end of the month, but it's not exactly crushing it right now, so don't think that we're sitting here swimming in money. We do really appreciate the support of all the Patreon supporters. Red Gunner Guy, how do you stop late game PvZ skytoss? Always 3-4 base cannon, battery void reopening. Can't kill them till they get the golden armada. How, dog? How does one gift good? Reynor, how do we stop it? How do we kill it?
well, it's the question of life, how dog. Can't really answer that kind of question. It's how dog. Well, I'm not sure, honestly. Just get some Vipers, some Corruptors, some Infestors. But this is the kind of question they ask me in my Instagram DMs. They're like, hey, Reynor, how do I beat Terran on 2 bases? And I'm like, what does this mean? Like, what is the Terran doing on 2 bases? What kind of composition? What's the opening? So, yeah, there's not really a generic answer to this. Like, it always depends on the situation.
Yona, you agree?
Well, I think in general, especially in lower leagues, I think just Corruptor or Viper does the deal for the most part, because normally it is actually just mass carriers or something. So as long as you just parabomb and jump on top, it should do the job in my
The loco
opinion.
maneuver.
The loco maneuver, yeah.
Loco doesn't take credit for the maneuver, by the way. I think it's Dima who
Well,
did it
it-
first.
Well,
Well, I
it's just
think
the loco
Fly-
maneuver at this point.
got
He has
Fly.
no power.
I think it's fly maneuver, honestly.
No, it's the
Personally.
loco
Yeah.
maneuver.
No,
When did
like,
Loco do that? Loco
Come
did
on,
that
man.
like 1
Loco
year
doesn't
ago.
even take credit for it himself. It's
Well,
not the
he
Loco
doesn't
maneuver.
doesn't need to take credit. Like we just gave the name loco maneuver. Like he has no power here. It's his maneuver now.
Just
Whether he
realized
for
that
likes
sure.
it
my
or not.
audio was still off for this entire episode. Did I
I
sound
think-
okay, guys?
No.
Yeah, you're sounding decently fine to me.
Okay, because normally my box is like this, but when I have to do the poker show, it goes all the way like this, and I forgot to change it. But
I just
Since
did,
nobody
I just
complained-
did it on this end, so nobody noticed.
okay, all right.
But
well,
I thought the Lovco comp was Hydra Ultra Infestor.
Yeah,
Wasn't
well,
that
that's the
Lovco?
loco composition. We're talking about these maneuvers.
Yeah, I guess that's different. Okay,
He'll-
we'll give it to him then. We'll give it to him.
Yeah, we can give that one to him. Let's give Loco something. Come on.
Loco gets a lot, guys. That man is crushing. Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, Loco's got it all covered. Don't worry about Loco, guys.
I heard
Oh.
Loco is a multimillionaire after his YouTube shows.
I've heard so too. Like I heard that I actually have to move out because Loco's buying my house and the entire neighborhood around it. It's
Come on, it
crazy.
doesn't take a millionaire to buy Southland. I
True.
I could buy it as well.
Hey, some respect, please, to my little farm bill. All right, moving on. What else have we got? Legan. What map would you consider the best map of all time? What map feature you like best if you would get introduced new map features like speed zones, etc. to the game? What would it be? All right, I'll let you guys talk about your favorite map of all time, and I really need to take a very quick restroom break. So, Reynor, go ahead and talk about your favorite map of all time.
My favorite map of all time. Well, I don't know. Lost and Found was actually sick. I like that map a lot. It's one of
Lost and
the.
Found. It was a Zerg map, of course. You like it.
Yeah, obviously it was sick. Come on, what are you gonna say? You're obviously
Well-
not gonna say some light shade or some broken map for Zerg.
Yeah. I guess the one that comes to my mind is Kairos Junction. I think this one was pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
Was-
Karos was sick, but it was a Terran map.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of a turn map, but
Shut
also
up, come
kind
on,
of
it was-
balanced.
No, it wasn't. Like it was short. One of the shortest maps.
But yeah, but also what I liked is that you have like a base in the middle, so you can like push forward and take a
Yeah,
base.
you can
in the
put
middle.
tanks there,
That's
and
like
you
really.
can.
Yeah, exactly. You can put tanks
Yeah.
and abuse the Zerg. Yeah, that's really cool.
What about some of the old school maps?
You're talking with kids, Yona. What do you think we know about? the old
Yeah,
school
freaking kids, man. Can't even
Yeah,
have a
what
good
the-
conversation.
How are they called, like Cloud Kingdom and stuff?
Yeah, Cloud Kingdom was actually the one that came to my mind.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
What about which map feature you like the best?
I
actually
personally-
liked, okay, go ahead.
I personally actually would like to see different mineral counts on maps. Like instead of having always 8 at the base. Well, I know we have like now on sleep. Well, what's the big map? Atmosphere.
Okay.
You have like 4 minerals, but in general, I'd like bases with maybe 10 minerals or 6 minerals, just to give a base some kind of different values, and it's just not always the same thing. I think that would be really cool, but that's not really happening right now from the current things that's in maps. I'm not sure what's my favorite feature. I don't really necessarily like the speed or slow zones too much, but I
Speed
don't
and
mind
slow
the
zones
nature.
need to be removed.
Yeah, I don't like them
Yeah.
too much either. I'm another fan. Maybe you could have like some different maps layout and like map setup instead of the like normal. I don't know, like some crazier map like fields and stuff. But I don't really like the speed zone, slow zones. I don't like them that much.
The acceleration zone did give us a great moment on the Yona stream, though. It did
How
give me.
fast are those balls,
mean,
man?
What?
They're fast. They're always fast though. Speed zones or no speed zones.
What about poor minerals, guys? We've got rich minerals. What if we had poor minerals, but then indeed you have 12 patches? You only get 3 minerals per trip, but 12 patches.
No.
That,
No?
that would never be worth going for.
But what if you have no choice?
But then you have no choice, I guess.
All right, moving on. Next question. Thank you very much for the question. What did you guys settle on, by the way, as favorite map? I want to know real quick. What was
Well,
the
I
best map?
said Cloud Kingdom, but I don't necessarily think it's the best map. It's just probably one of the more maps that I have some good memories on. I mean, I wasn't even good back
You
then.
said Lost and Found.
I knew you were gonna say that. I actually like that map. Clem?
I said Kairos Junction. I think it was a nice map.
Heroes?
Kairos.
Yeah. Alrighty. Moving on. Milo, who are your favorite pros outside of yourself for each guest? Clem, who's your favorite pro?
Obviously me.
No, of course not. Like when I, well, like when I started playing and stuff, I really liked Maru, and I think Maru is like overall probably my favorite. But then over the past like year or so, or maybe a few years, I really enjoyed watching Cure games. I think it's always pretty interesting, and he has some like cool build orders and stuff. So maybe him too.
Reynor.
That's a good question, Kevin. Well, when I started, one of my favorites was Snoot. Snoot was one of my favorites, and then personally, Serral was one of my inspirations. Still until I started to smash him, and right now I'm actually not sure, not sure who to pick.
Just pick me again.
I am maybe Johanna is still my favorite pro gamer to watch. I'll admit it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would well, my favorite early day pro gamers were for sure Jadong. I like very much. I was a big fan of him. TLO, one of my first when he was actually playing random even. I like him. Nowadays, it's really hard to pick nowadays. If everyone's pretty nice in the scene, so in that way, everyone's around even crowns. But if I
Come
do,
on, say it. You study my replays at night before you go
no,
to sleep.
I
You
don't.
watch 3
The
Reynor
only
replays at least each day. Come on,
I
admit it, Jona.
I do appreciate Rogue's play style. I think he has some
Believe it.
cool stuff.
Come on. Okay. No, not that
I
time.
do watch your replays as well. Don't worry.
Okay. It's good to hear.
But I don't
Jona.
dream about them.
No, you do. Come on. It's okay to not admit it. It's okay. I like. I get you. You don't want to admit something like that, but well, we all know you do dream my replays.
Fair enough.
Moving on. Thank you, guys. What's the next question, Cobra?
That's the last one.
That is the last one. All right. Now, my first question, actually, at the end of this is, Clem, what camera do you use?
I like a Sony one. I think it's the one that Harsem uses too. I don't really remember.
It's
what
like an
it was.
A6000, A6100, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
But yeah, I got a new one. For like
Mhm.
my birthday, I think it was.
I mean, that's basically what I'm looking for. Reynor, how much prize money does it take for you to get a normal camera at home?
Why would I? Why would
Because
I?
we want to see you in HD.
I will. Okay, I will. But I have better investments to do. Come on.
Well, what? Like another Gucci sweater? You think that's more
No, not
important than having a
Gucci.
good camera at home?
I just bought a Versace sweater.
That's even worse. What are we
No, it's
doing?
not. Come on. What do you mean? You gotta look swag and fire to go fishing and golfing on my next vacation.
Yona, we're closing in on $1 million when it comes to SE2 career earnings. When do you think we can take some of that and get a nice camera and a headset?
Isn't my camera and headset not very nice?
There's room for improvement. Let's keep it at that.
It's
It's the
internet.
upload speed. That's why the camera is so bad. From on my side, it's absolute bugglers.
Okay. All right.
He actually
Next
has.
guy. When are we moving?
Serral has a $200 webcam already. It's just that the feed is coming through.
Okay.
It's just that's the way it is.
Wow, so it really is the internet. All right,
Yep.
you're forgiven. But
It is,
Reynor,
it is.
What?
that this blurry in and out of focus thing.
No,
that
it's
we're-
not blurry. Come on, it's just me moving like an ape every fucking time.
Mm.
Because I can't stand still.
All right, well, guys, then
I-
that is actually officially going to do it. Sorry, Cobra, go ahead.
We had one more come in at the last possible second.
Oh.
This one's already been
Yeah, I
rolled
know.
over, but
I know who Lino is. Lino actually spent some time with Reynor too. So Lino's asking us, hello guys, I hope for Serral to say he considered Barcelona as his first big win, as I got to see the three of them for the first time in person. Question, who of Serral and Clem is better at geoguessr? Had to leave Reynor out because he's definitely bronze until he gets some proper training.
Nino knows I would smoke these guys in 2 seconds. That's why he actually left me out. It's not because I'm bronze. I would just absolutely destroy them.
All right, Clem, who's better?
I actually played a bit of geoguessr, but I'm like really bad. Like my geography is so bad. It's a bit embarrassing. So I'm not sure how good you're, Serral, at like geoguessr and stuff.
I mean, I've actually never played the game, so not very
yeah,
good,
I'm
I
not
assume.
very good. I'm not very good.
Seems like we
But
should
there's
make
also like
this
some
happen.
tricks and stuff.
What do you guys say? One big round of geoguessr after the DreamHack SE2 Masters, like season finals, is done. We're gonna play some geoguessr all together.
I would have to practice, but I'm not.
Yeah,
Not
need to
really, no,
practice.
thank
Need
you.
to get good at the game before. To be honest, the game does seem extremely hard.
It's not that hard. It's common knowledge.
Come on, stop
No, it's
flexing, Kevin.
not.
Stop flexing. We all know
Well,
you're good with geography, Kevin. You don't need to
I'm good at
tell
many things,
us.
Raynor. I'm good
I
at many
know.
things. If
Most
I
of
was
them
10
you
years
can't.
younger, I'd be very good at StarCraft too. Don't you forget about that, young man.
You're still very good, Kevin. Come on. You
Oh,
almost
okay.
yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much. We obviously have one more part of the show, and that is this week in StarCraft 2. But it has already been such a long show that you guys are absolutely free to leave. And I would actually like to have like a 1 minute or 2 minute break as well before we hop into that part of the show. If you guys have other stuff to do, please feel free to leave because it's a lot of very small tournaments that I don't know if you guys are interested in. If you want to stay, you're more than welcome to stay. But if you want to leave, I want to give you guys the opportunity to leave. And please don't feel bad about it because that's kind of how the show is designed. So, what do you say, Clem?
I don't know. What are you guys gonna do, Reynor, Serral? Am I gonna stay?
I'm pacing off because I still have to eat. Sorry, guys.
No worries. Absolutely no worries, Hart. Then I'll say goodbye to you already, Reynor. Thank you very much, mate, for taking time out of your day
You're
for joining
welcome.
us today for the Pylon Show. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, me
Hopefully, you
too.
had some fun. Any final words?
Not really. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you, Yona and Clem. You're always fun to hang out with. And thank you, Kevin. Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Any streams coming up soon, mate?
Not really. Probably not. But I still have to do the monthly because I promised my subscribers I would do a monthly stream, and I still have to do that, and they're gonna get very pissed. But I'm not sure when to do it. I'll find a moment.
I have to say, I'm impressed that you managed to be a full-time streamer for literally 11 days, Reynor.
Yeah, that was quite something in it.
You did well. Thank you so much for joining us and have a good day, mate.
Thank you guys. Bye bye. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Yona, you are also more than free to leave if you feel like it's been long enough because it's been almost 2.5 hours and that's already longer than I want to make these shows in the first place. So, what do you think?
Just thinking, like, if I'm gonna leave here, then Clem's probably gonna leave, and then you're gonna handle the show by yourself.
I mean, if you guys want to stick around to talk about some of the smaller tournaments, feel free. And we won't make it too long.
I could stay. I could stay.
Okay, let's just stay. It's
all right, let's just go ahead and dive into it then, Cobra. Let's go ahead and dive into this week in StarCraft 2. This is also something that we have been working on a little bit. Instead of going through 25 random pages like we did in the past, I want to make it a little bit easier for you guys to follow to see what we're talking about. We obviously cover the big tournaments in the beginning of the Pylon Show. Now towards the end, we focus on some of the community stuff. Hit me, Cobra. What do we got? It looks beautiful. Let's go ahead and take a look at this week in StarCraft 2. So we have a lot of things, and if you guys, Serral or Clem, want to talk about each of these results that you see on your screen, feel free. Apparently, Maru won the PC 4-man Super Tournament. Clem, you definitely saw those games, didn't you?
Yeah, Maru was also streaming, which is pretty cool. So I watched it on Maru's stream. That was really fun.
As you guys can see, the Wardy Summer Championships are coming up as well. Clem, are you participating in that one?
I'm actually not sure. I have to check. I'm actually not sure, but I might be.
Yona, you're probably gonna let that one slide.
Yeah, I'm just focusing on the DreamHack event for now.
Makes a lot of sense. Then we had an excellent cup take place where Zest managed to take out Trigger 3-1 in the final. That's of course a PvP. Did any of you guys already play against Trigger a couple of times? I think it's really cool that we have a new face coming out of the NA scene. I know that he's not quite there yet, but he's getting pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah, I think I played against him one time in the EU weekly, and he was like pretty good. He was like, yeah, he felt pretty good, and one game was like really scary, and I almost lost it. And like, yeah, he was looking pretty good. So I'm pretty hyped about like guessing what he's gonna do in the future.
Ever played him, Serral?
Well, I think I played him once when I was streaming, but that's pretty much it. That's just cool. I just did a nasty little queen walk, so there's not much to talk about that game, in all honesty.
Shameless, Yona. I still remember when you knighted me on my birthday on Purity in Industry. There's just nothing stopping you, is there?
I mean, if you're freaking making the golf face. No, Puritan. Yeah, golf face. Like, I need to punish that.
You don't. You're Serral. I'm Ruddy. You don't need to punish anything, okay? But we're moving on. Storm had a King of the Hill, where apparently sort of had a good run. He took out Marine Lord. He took out the laser. He also destroyed me. But that I guess happened on day 3 and day 4. But in the final day, it was Clem with a 2-0 over Max Specs. How were those games, Clem?
Yeah, so that was actually yesterday. There were some pretty nice games. I was pretty happy because I felt like I was playing better than what I've been playing the past few weeks and stuff. So I was pretty happy of yesterday's games. I also played against a laser, and that was also pretty nice. So yeah, just overall pretty happy. The games were kind of normal. He didn't do anything super weird, I think. He played kind of normal, like for Gale Blink and Phoenix on the second game.
Alrighty. Apparently, we had the Berserker Diamond Weekly happen, where 11 took out Ashbro 3-0 and Matrix 3-1. Blade, this was for Diamond League 1 players and below. So hopefully these guys had fun participating. It's really cool to see community tournaments still take place. The Magikarp Masters Cup, Rarka took out Gator 3-1. Congrats to Rarka. Then we had the Probots happen, where Strelok overpowered Dominion Dog with economy and mech made possible by Scarlet, who developed methods to backport patch 5.06 game futures. That is still taking place, guys. Take a look at it if you're interested in AI and all that kind of stuff, where apparently Strelok and Scarlet are also a little bit involved. So seems like a fun time. Feel free to check it out. Obviously, you guys can click on it with the show notes and stuff as well over at ThePylonShow.com. We had Good Game Cup 4 take place. Cyan Lenok special in Zam, but that is on July 22nd, so that's tomorrow. And then apparently we have the Grand Prix series take place. What else do we got? Because I think these last things kind of speak for themselves. We had a King of the Hill weekly Wednesday. Clem, you playing in that King of the Hill too?
Wednesday. I might be. I think yeah. So yesterday the first King of the Hill was over. So I was like the King of the Hill, even though I only played 2 matches. So yeah, I might continue there.
Alrighty. Apparently, Science managed to win the Copa Hyperion over Paco Mike. Seems to be a lovely little PvP. It's just PvPs everywhere. On that, make sure to check out the Sentimiento Latino 113 coming up. We have CSO Contender. That is Brute War? Question mark? Matrix Blade? I'm gonna go with Brute War. We've got the Battle of the Americas. That happens on Saturday. You guys can click on that link too. And then winner buys you dinner. MaxPax just keeps on winning free food. Have you guys ever participated in a tournament where you can win a free meal?
I've never.
Yona?
See, I mean, like I don't have many tournaments under. I don't play too many tournaments, so I haven't did.
Mm-hmm. That's one tournament that's probably not submitted that actually did take place last weekend, and that was the Jumi Cup that was won by Battlebee once again. You already picked him, Clem, to have a splash at the upcoming DreamHack qualifiers, and I agree with you. I think Battlebee is very good. We also had a pizza bi-weekly where Gerald took a trigger, so here we did see Europe beating NA one more time. He won his 13th pizza, guys. That's 13 pizzas for Gerald.
Yeah, that's crazy. I always see him playing in the pizza pie weekly.
How do the pizza tournaments even work? Do you just get like a little check or what? Like you can only use it on pizza, or how does it work? Are they sending you a pizza?
I think you basically, I don't know actually how it works because I've never won a pizza, but I'm gonna assume that you give them basically the website where you can order pizza. Maybe they order the pizza for you, or if it's like foreign countries, then maybe you get like 20 or 25 bucks, and then I think you just have to deliver proof that you spend it on pizza.
It's kind of like what you first said. They get a local pizza chain from you, and then what your order is, they'll order it, and then they'll send you a check later. Because you get to get pizza and also cash.
Well, sounds sick, guys. There you have it. Maybe it's worth considering, Clem, one night. If the weekly doesn't work out, you can still win a pizza.
Maybe, if I can win this.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. All right, what else do we got, Cobra? We got Alpha X, of course, runs a whole bunch of tournaments. So we have a dedicated page for Alpha X. Battlebee doing well, apparently defeating Trigger and also, just winning Group A. And apparently Eric Fire. No, wait, it's Battle Buddy who won Group A. and Trigger apparently won Group B. So well done there by Trigger. I mean, these guys, they just keep popping up. Apparently, Gumiho 5-0 Cyan. That's kind of insane, isn't it, Clem?
Yeah, actually, Gumio is looking like pretty strong. I saw a game of Gumio against Moru, and he was actually like super close from being up 2-0 against Moru, which is like really impressive. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped about Gumio games, like next games he's gonna play.
Once
He also
upon a time.
won. He also won against Ragnarok somewhere. Was it
Oh
the
yeah, that's true.
PC tournament? Bringing back the double trophy.
He's special. The Gumio special.
Yeah, well done by Gumi. It's cool to see more and more of these old names popping up again. Maybe he's gonna bring some mech to you again, Yona.
Yeah, I mean, I always like playing against mech. It's kind of like playing against pros, so it's very enjoyable for me.
He did end your DreamHack run, or excuse me, your BlizzCon run once upon a time.
Yeah, that was also with mech, so I guess that's not as fun of an experience, but I'm actually still a little bit sad about that BlizzCon specifically because I felt really confident going in against him, and then I absolutely couldn't win against his mech. It was very strong.
I remember that your dad, like, he was watching the games as well, and then he mumbled something about machines to me because I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he mumbled something about not being happy with the machines, also known as the mechanical Terran units. Alrighty, we had Brawlers Club. Cure goes 3-0 in a round robin against Zest, Solar, and Special. How good is Terran, Clem?
The rating is Darren. I'm not too sure. I think Cure is very good right now. He's looking really good. So yeah, it doesn't like surprise me that much. But yeah, he's looking strong.
Alrighty. Alpha X Summer Team League is still taking place as well. We had Team GP beating Starlight, Twinkle, Storm beating Orange Udon, and Alpha X beating Genesis Gaming. So congrats to those teams that managed to pick up their first dubs. And then we have the iTech Super Series, Cure 3-2 Zest with Gumiho and Linok. Clem, how good is Terran?
No, I swear Terran is not that great. I swear.
I
he's the
believe
only one that can win. No, but
Cure really is a beast in these online tournaments, though, isn't he?
yeah, he's like really insane, and he also plays so many of them. Like I always see him in the. I think he even plays all three of the ESL weeklies, if I'm not wrong. He played EU1, the Korean one, and the American one. That's like crazy.
And he is the first player that
Yeah.
has won all three weeklies, because nobody else has done that. But he's the very first to win the Korean weekly, the European weekly, and an American weekly. So Cure is the ultimate god. You know, Serral, I feel like whenever we think of Korean Terrans, he's still not the first guy that we think of, right? You still always think of Maru, or in the old days it was like TY, Ino, and Pyon. Do you think that Cure should be the first guy that we think of at this point?
Well, I mean, I think it's fair to still consider Maru above him, but obviously you should think about Kerr as well when we are talking about Korean Terrans. I think he has shown that I think it's fair to consider him top 2 at least in Korean Terrans, but I think Maru is still the best. And I kind of also appreciate the way Maru plays. I really think people who go to the ultimate late game, those are the people I think I can appreciate the most for sure. So that's why Maru is the kind of the easy pick for me in a way from the Korean Terrans.
Fair enough. You agree with that one, Clem?
Yeah, I would agree. I think Maru is probably still the number one. But Cure is also like up there. Yeah, probably number 2 if I had to guess. But yeah, it's always pretty close.
It's good to see him do so well. Hopefully, he can go all the way once as well. I mean, the same feeling that I have for Bonnie, I have a little bit with Cure. Even though I'm not that close with Cure, just be nice to see some different people winning the GSL. You know, I know that Trap has never won it, but it kind of feels like he did because he's been winning all the super tournaments, and we know that Trap is a beast and he wins CSL. I feel like Cure and Bonnie, we know they're good. They have decent runs. They can't close it out yet. I really hope that is going to change for them sometime this year. What else do we got, Cobra? This week in Brood War. All right, Yona. I feel like you have the best Brood War knowledge of us three. Would you agree with that?
No, not really. I mean,
Really?
depends what kind of knowledge. I don't really know the player base right now or that kind of stuff too much.
Clem, do you ever watch it?
I'm basically never watching Broad War, and I have like very few knowledge, so I think Serral is probably still the
I think
right
Sarah
guy.
is the most knowledgeable because I don't
Yeah.
know
Well,
anything,
yeah,
guys.
I mean, yeah, from us three maybe, but that doesn't mean much, right?
No, I guess not. I've had one really fun Brood War game in my life, and that was against Zombie Grub at BlizzCon. We had like a 20-minute PvT. I had no idea what was happening. I was basically doing the StarCraft 2 thing in StarCraft 1. Instead of Zealots and Stalkers, I made Zealots and Dragoons, but I just kept running into tanks, and it turns out tanks are really good in Brood War, and eventually I just ran out of steam and Zombie Grub beat me in Brood War, and that's like the only fun experience I've ever had in Brood War. Anyway, let's take a look at some of these results. AMD Red Lake Cross 2-0 Terror and Goronich 2-0 Tech. Cast by Ollie Patrick. Shout out to Ollie. Brood War G's Weekly. Bishop Beat Goes to Dark. That happens on Saturdays. You guys can obviously click on all of these links as well. I like the bottom one. Turf Wars 2. Dogecoin Millionaires taking out the Smack Squad 4-3. Any Dogecoin in the wallet, Clem?
No, unfortunately.
Yona, not a Dogecoin believer either.
Not really, no.
All right. Well, as you guys can see, a few other tournaments taking place. Obviously, feel free to check out the show notes once more over at ThePylonShow.com. You guys can always click on this. What else do we have, Cobra?
This is the last slide here.
All right. This week in StarCraft, the last slide. StarCraft, an inspiration to fight the COVID-19 pandemic? Question mark. The American doctor Eric, and something else. I'm not going to go there. What is happening here? And the Health Economist has detailed on how the fighter could be inspired by the real-time strategy game called StarCraft 2. The American scientist has been playing StarCraft since adolescence. Do you remember the battles between the Terrans and the Zerg? The Zerg evolve very quickly, and the Swarm are unstoppable once they mutate, evolve, and inject on a large scale. The Terran can only win if they stop the Zerg sooner. Would you agree with that, Clem?
Yeah, I do agree.
The Terran are very good at fortifying themselves and using siege tanks and turrets, but this defense strategy never worked to win a direct Terran battle against the Zerg. Zerg swarms will always outnumber the human armies if you just sit around doing nothing. What do you make of that, Clem?
Um, yeah, well, it kind of looks like a copy pasta, to be honest.
I don't think it is. Otherwise, it would not have made it into the Pylon show.
Yeah, no, but I mean, that's pretty cool if he's a scientist and he can like, if he can like, have like similarities with StarCraft for his researches and stuff. But
Yeah, I mean, it's funny to read, I guess, but I'm not sure.
yeah,
I'm not sure what to do with this. Jonah, what do you make of this?
And honestly, I did fail to follow the story a little bit.
Oh, you followed it.
I'm not exactly sure what's going on there.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what's going on either. I mean, it'd be true, I guess, if the humans would only have Marines forever. But has this guy ever thought about Ghosts liberated with advanced ballistics? Because I don't think so. You can sit around, do nothing, and then be totally fine. Isn't that the case, Clem?
yeah, that's very true.
Yoda probably feels like he's the one who needs to make something happen. You need to deny bases with the swarm, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I do for sure. That's kind of how it works. But yeah, there's a point. I don't think just playing passive works a thing anymore. Really.
All right. Well, I am obviously no health scientist. I don't have a medical degree, so I don't know what else to make of any of this, but it is cool to see StarCraft being used, I guess, in different ways, in creative ways. It's always something. That is totally going to do it, guys, for the Pylon Show number 134. Now that Reynor's gone, let's talk about how we really feel about Reynor. What do you say, Clem?
Well, he's just a kid, like he's a shit kid. That yeah. Now that he's gone, we can trash talk him a little bit.
Love it, Yona. You can't stand him, can you?
I mean, when he's quiet, I can stand him, but
It's quiet. It's never quiet. Is he ever quiet?
not really.
All right. Well, I already said thanks to Reynor, but honestly, guys, thank you so much. I know that. I mean, I don't know if you guys are always busy, but technically, there's always something better for you guys to do, and you don't have to do this. So I do truly appreciate it. I know that a lot of StarCraft fans find it very fun to see you three interact with each other. So honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for agreeing to do this and taking a lot of time out of your day. Hopefully, you had fun.
Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it a lot.
How
So,
bad
It
was
was
it,
really
Jonah?
nice. It wasn't too bad. It was somewhat enjoyable. I have to say that again, not streaming for a while, my English always gets a little rusty. So even in that way, streaming is useful to keep my English somewhat decent, even though it's never perfect.
If you would have to rate your experience on this show, 1 to 10, what number would you give it?
I'll give it a good 8.
Oh, well, that's good, mate. That's better than I did in high school. I'll take that. What do you say, Clem? Was it fun?
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I think I can always improve my answers and stuff, and my English is not always perfect, but yeah, it was really fun.
Is there one thing that you guys can think of right now that you wish either the viewers would have asked you or I would have asked you?
Mm, um, I'm not sure. I think if Gabe was there too, I think talking about balance would have been really fun. But now that it was one turn against two Zerg, nah, I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
Yona?
not really. Nothing special.
All right. Then obviously, I wish both of you guys best of luck in the upcoming DreamHack Masters season. I know a lot of people will be very excited to see you in action. This is the beautiful Twitter of Yona. Any streams coming up as well, Yona? Because I know you were actually very consistent for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I took a break, so it's justified. But I'll resume my weekly streams. Well, I'll at least try to do one stream a week, and maybe I'll do one tomorrow or the day after. Now that I started playing, this is actually the first week I started playing on like Sunday again, so it made really no sense to stream when I was very rusty or taking the break, just because that would kind of take away the idea of the break.
Make sure you have a couple of good one-liners for me, okay? My stream deck is running low on Yona memes.
But it's not that easy to come up with good ones though, on fly.
I know. I'll be lurking. SlowlyFalling will be helping out. Well, clip when it's good. Thank you so much, Yona. Any final words?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me here, and it was enjoyable times, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Thank you so much. Clem, obviously, we're going to have your Twitter on board as well. I know that you did a stream or two too recently with your brand new camera. It looked really good. I was like, oh my goodness, he's no longer a pro gamer. He's moving into the streaming life already. But it was very cool to see.
Maybe not yet. No, but yeah, I try to stream once in a while. When I just try to stream sometimes because it's really fun. And then you can follow me on Twitter. It would be nice. And yeah, thanks for having me. It was really fun. Thanks you all for watching.
All right. Well, that's then officially going to do it for number 134. A big shout out to Cobra and Alexander, of course, for making the Pylon Show possible. Once more, shout out to Reynor as well, even though he left us. But I know that he's been very busy with studying. Guys, all the best in DreamHack. I really look forward to watching the games. And make sure give us some spicy interviews as well when you're on the main broadcast. It just makes everything a little more fun.
We're going to do our best.
All right. Good luck on the journeys, guys. And hopefully you all make it to the season finals. That's going to do it for us. Thank you guys so much for watching one more time. I do have a... you want to do this, Cobra?
It's up to you.
Why don't you do it?
I'd probably take a moment of silence here to remember Geoff. Yesterday was his second year passing. I feel like we need to at least mention it a little bit, even though some of us are still dealing with this. He's one of the big reasons, if not one of the two biggest reasons, why the show exists now to start with, and he's always going to be with us. Much love, to everybody who's sent in messages and support our show this far. That's it.
I think that's a beautiful message to end it on, mate. I think that goes for all of us. We'll never forget him, and he'll be loved forever. Clem, Serral, Reynor, thank you guys so much for making the Pylon Show 134 possible. And thank all of you guys for tuning in. And we hope to see you again next week. Same place, but perhaps slightly different time because we... no, actually, we have DreamHack coming up. So the times may vary a little bit, but
We'll figure it out and post you somewhere.
Yeah, we do try to make it a weekly thing. We try to be here every Wednesday. So one more time, thank you guys so much, and goodbye.
Shout out to the Pylon Show, the greatest show on the internet.